What's up, duelists? What's up, duelists? How's it going? How's it going? Oh shoot, I'm on the wrong tab. I'm on the wrong tab. Now we're on the right tab. There we go. How's it going, everybody? What's up, duelists? Doing a little bit of a stream today, actually. I think a stream is going to be better for what I wanted to do today than a video. There were so many like little things I wanted to do and cover that I don't think a video would have really captured all that well. So we're going to be doing a live stream today. What's up, duelists? What's up, duelists? I'm going to just tweet out that I'm live right now. If you're just joining in, say something in the chat. What's up, Julius? How's it going? How's it going? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Quick shout out to everyone who's been watching the content lately. Big appreciate that. Big appreciate that. So today I mentioned this, but we're gonna repeat it a couple times as we get a few more viewers in the chat. Today I've got a lot of stuff I want to cover. I want to go over. I want to talk about the upcoming RBET. I want to talk about the tier list. I want to talk about wave motion YuGiOh, which is something I've been personally really invested in lately, especially now that wave motion YuGiOh is going to be a weekly series over on RJ's channel. And I wanted to talk about like a couple other things, like the new channel and like some upcoming content pieces and whatnot. So just wanted to engage with you guys a little bit more than the average video does. Just wanted to engage a little bit, just wanted to engage a little bit. Hold up, I'm just tweeting out real quick that I am live on Twitter. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, it's at E3YuGiOh. Of course, I'm going to tweet out that I'm live. Question for the first few people who are here. What do you think I should do in the future? Do you think I should stream with camera or without camera? So I've been pretty camera shy in the past. Yes, hashtag engagement. I've been pretty camera shy in the past in general because, I don't know, I'm lazy more or less. I don't want to make myself look presentable a lot of the time. But do you think it's better with camera? Hydrano says it's better with camera. Maybe we set up a camera right now. I look like shit. I haven't showered today, but maybe we set up a camera right now. I don't know. I'll do that in a second. Once we get more people in. I'm gonna tweet out. I'm gonna tweet out what we're doing real quick. Just 1 second. Hold everybody. Hold. Hold everybody. Hold. What's up, Custard? Welcome in. Welcome in. Live right now on YouTube. Come through, link in bio. Okay, cool. Tweet sent. What's up, classic YuGiOh collector? Yeah, generally speaking, I'm pretty camera shy. I need to get better about it, especially as the channel grows. Cause I think it's a self-esteem thing, but it's gonna be something that may or may not limit the channel growth moving forward. I think just having the camera on it's just a bigger way to grow. Okay, today, order of business. Back to the YuGiOh stuff. The stuff that you guys are here for. We're talking RBET today. This weekend's RBET5. Are you guys excited? Is everyone excited for that? I'm pretty excited. Because this tournament series has been a lot of fun to put together. It's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of fun. And it's been really interesting. If we're reflecting on the lists that have actually done well, it's kind of homogenous, or more homogenous than you would think. Like Blackwing has done really well, and that's it really. There hasn't been a deck that like consistently does well the same as Blackwings, but at the same time we haven't had the same consistent representation the way we've had Blackwings be represented in each tournament. So it's kind of hard to like say like, oh, this deck is consistently doing well because it's the best deck, or is it just consistently doing well because it's consistently one of the most represented decks or the most represented deck? Or, there's a lot of stuff to talk about with that. I'm not really sure. Um, in terms of the tier list, I think there's about 3 decks that I would put as like the best deck in the format at any given moment, personally. And then everything else is just kind of below that, realistically. If we're being real. If we're being real, 100 emoji. But I'm thinking about doing a tier list video, like a dedicated tier list video. I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts. Because you guys play this format too, and you guys have your own unique perspectives. And I play this format a lot, but I'm sure you guys do too, so I'm not really sure. Especially like from you guys watching the format and like seeing how it unfolds and whatnot. Seeing how it unfolds, etc. Hold up, I just wanna separate something real quick. Let me see if I can pull this out. Oh no, TCG player. What do we have here? What do we have on the stream? Okay, we've got Dueling Book. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, now I can monitor the stream health while I'm monitoring the tight. Schlaffy says Frogs and Blackwings feel like they're almost in their own tier. What else do you have up there? I don't think Frogs are even in the best 20 decks, if I'm going to be real. Blason says, has Edison peaked? That's a good question. What's up, Duelist? Welcome in, Gores. How you doing today? Has Edison peaked? That's a good question. That's actually a really good question. Has it peaked? Let me update the stream label. So we're going to do tier list discussion. Okay, so I'll open up like... Here I was working on the thumbnail for this, but we can open up a different thing here and talk tier list. You guys know tier lists. Okay, let's go ahead and make this brighter, and then we can talk Edison discussion. Okay, legit. Let's talk. Okay, people are saying Frogs, Blackwing. What have we got? What do you guys think is the best deck? Doing pretty good, Gores. Doing pretty good. I don't think Frogs is anywhere near Blackwing. Or anywhere near any of the other decks, if I'm going to be real. I think, generally speaking, Frogs is just... It's good until you get good. And then once you get good, the deck is pretty bad. Like, legitimately pretty bad. More, it says Wave Motion Fairies. This week, I'm going to talk about my Wave Motion deck building today on stream. This week's not deck building. This week's block is Ignition Assault, which is really cool. It's a bunch of cards I've never gotten a chance to play with, so. What's up, Carl Smith? How's it going? Finally picked up Gladiator Beast for Edison, and you're hyped? That's sick, man. Hell yeah. Love to hear that. Blason says Lightswarm, Flamvell, Dragons, Fairies, Glad Beast. Those are the best to him. Gemini, not Hero Beat, deserves tier list recognition, says Aylin. I agree. I actually do agree. I think there is a really good Gemini deck to be had. I have a cool Gemini list. Let me see if I have it in my builder. I might. I'm not sure if this is the updated list. Yeah, this is pretty close to my updated list, Aylin. If you want to check this out, I'm playing a triple Knight of the Red Lotus Gemini list as of lately, and I've been having a lot of success with this deck. It's 50-50 right now. Like it's not fully tuned, but the general concept is that you can abuse stuff like Supervise Evocator. I don't know how to pronounce this card. And then Knight of the Red Lotus is just like insane tempo plays. You can deal like, you can get a couple 4,000 bombs if you like force through an attack with compulsory or something. And then if you just get like another honest push in later, or like a pop and then another 2,100 swing. Hero Blast does suck. It's actually about the 40th card in this list. Jordan, my Hero Blast does suck. I might actually cut it in this list. Sampo. Yeah, we'll talk Skull Lair. We'll talk Skull Lair and Fairies. I think that's actually a really good tech. We'll definitely talk that in a second. Schlaffy says, struggling between choosing what to play. Now I gotta be on Frogs to try and prove me wrong. I mean, good luck, man. Good luck. Everyone has their own opinion on the format, which I think is super tight. Ryan Wilson says, Chatburn and Twitter Monster Mash S tier. The decks that you guys build, they're built different. I'll say it. They're built different. That Twitter deck was fire. Did you guys like the Twitter video? It did really poorly. It was like my worst performing video in like the last like 3 months. It was so bad. I'm not sure if it was because of like, there was like a YouTube bug yesterday where the comments weren't showing up. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was like a YouTube bug yesterday where the comments just weren't showing up. I don't know if it's because of that or like their algorithm was fucked or something, but I don't know. It just did. That video did really poorly. It was like 50% of the views I normally get, which is insane. Okay, so let's talk tier list. Let's talk tier list. Tier list. We've got tier 1. We've got tier 2. We've got tier 3. We've got tier 4 and below. I think this is a good way to separate the formats. I think anything in tier 1 to tier 3 can win a tournament. Sampo, I do not have a Patreon, but if you want to donate, there's a donation link in the description below. Or if you want to become a member, which is $2.99 a month on the channel, you can click the join button and become a member, and you get access to some pretty cool emojis. The recent emoji I just added is Treeborn Pog. It's Poggy's face on Treeborn Frog. It's not the best emote, but I'm out here doing my best with my freeware, so. Treeborn Pog, kind of hype for all the frog enjoyers. We've got a couple other emotes, of course. We've got the Blizzy, we got the Rock, Paper, Scissors, and of course the Pro Storm. What's up, Time on the Round? Welcome in, dude. Welcome in. So yeah, we've got our tier list. We've got our tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Anything in the top 3 tiers, I think, can win a tournament. So that's how small I think the differential is. But I think tier 1 is like slightly better. It's like slightly more realistic, can win a tournament if you're playing hot. So let's get into this. This is a discussion between me and you guys, because I'm pretty certain on what tier 1 is, but the rest of the stuff, it's really hard to say. I'm pretty certain tier 1 right now is like Blackwing X, Fairy, and then like Teledad or Zombie Dad. These are like the 3 best decks in the format. I would say these are my 3 best decks. I'm gonna do a more in-depth tier list video after this one, talking about this, and the tier list video I'm planning on doing, I'll probably do it after the RBET, but I'm gonna have a deck list for all of these basically, and every time I bring up a deck in the tier list, I'm gonna pull up a deck list and like showcase it or whatnot. Blason says X Sabers could top. It could. It actually could. I wanted to play some X Sabers today, so we might get in some X Saber matches in a little bit. But I think the deck's very good. I think X Sabers is very good. I think it's very slept on. So these are, I think, the best 3 decks. Blackwing, Fairy, and Zombie Dad. I think these are the best 3 decks. Eventually, like, as we get to a more, like, late-stage Edison, these are the 3 decks people will play the most of. And then tier 2, I think, is, like, it's like the next best stuff. Like, the stuff that's super consistent. What's up, Nylon? Welcome in. Welcome in. Everyone who's just joining us, welcome in. Welcome in. We're almost at 6K subs, too, which I'm super excited about. If you're joining us and aren't already subscribed, go ahead. Go ahead and subscribe. You get a chat if you're subscribed. That's how it works. Okay, cool. All right, tier 2. I think this is where I want to put Quick Draw, Lightsworn. I think those 2 are pretty clear tier 2 decks. Like, they're very good, but you need, like, just a little bit in order to clear everything. Like, you need just a little bit extra in order to win. I think this is where I would put some of the more aggressive big monster decks, like Dragons. Dragon kind of fell off a little bit in the last few events. Yo, thanks for becoming a member, Sampo. I really appreciate that. Hell yeah, welcome in. Enjoy your new emotes, my guy, and the fun little Clover badge. I'm getting a new badge soon for like 7 to 12 month subscribers. Really appreciate that. That's super hype. Okay, so I think Dragon, and then I think actually Carpath Machina deck. We'll say KFC in parentheses Carpath. I think this is a very good deck. I think the Carpath deck is probably better than these 3 decks up here. Like, realistically, I think the Carpath deck has potential to be tier 1. It has potential to be tier 1. But I'm not sure. Oh shit, fuck. I just did the wrong thing. Fuck. Wait. Okay, what are we doing? Okay, cool. There we go. Yes, there we go. Okay. Can I zoom in a bit? Yes, absolutely. My bad. Hold on. We got select tool option, zooming in. How does that look to you guys? Is that a little better? Is Is that a little bit more readable? Let me see if I can get a better zoom going. A little pixely, but it'll work. It'll work, right? You guys can read that a little bit better? Bit blurry, man. Fucking. Okay, hold up. We're just gonna make it bigger. Let's go. Bit blurry. Dang. I wonder if that's like a YouTube thing or if that's on my end. We'll make it bigger and then we'll zoom in. Actually, yeah. How's it going, Rihanna fan? Welcome in, MM. Welcome in, Rockforge Weebmeister. That's a cursed username, but gotta respect it. Alexander Cancel says Monster Mash. What's up, Hydropump? How's it going, bro? Okay, we got our tiers. We got our tier 2s. We're in tier 2 right now. So I think this is like clear tier 2. Is there anything else I'm forgetting? I feel like there's a lot of stuff I'm forgetting. I guess, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of stuff I'm forgetting. Oh, zombies. Well, I'm grouping zombies into well zombie dad. Heroes has to be tier 2. They top every event. You're right. Heroes. Or Hero X. I should say Hero X. Because that's like, that covers like the Diva variants and then like the mixed like Diva Hero Beat. Yes, Vayu is in Blackwing X, Sampo. Time on the Round says Frog variants tier 2. I disagree. I do not think Frog variants are tier 2. At all. I do not think they are tier 2. I think they're like tier 3. I think they're the top of tier 3. Frog X. Because if we're grouping them all together, let's be real, most of the Frog decks suck ass. Most of them suck ass. Some of them are pretty good. Like some of them could be like the bottom of tier 2. But if we're grouping them all together, most of them suck. So I'd say like tier 3. Hero X is pretty consistent. Like I think the reason the Frog decks have performed well in the past is if you look at the frog decks that have performed well in the past, it's because they had heroes in them. So if we're talking about Frog Hero as more of a hero deck and less of a frog deck, it's honestly interesting because I think the Frog Hero deck is straight up a worse version of like the other hero decks, the other Miracle Hero decks, but it has like an interesting B plan. Gladiator Beasts. Oh, that's a good question. I think Gladiator Beasts are tier 3. But I think it's close. I think it's very close. The difference between tier 2 and tier 3 is very close. That's what I'm going to be real. Like tier 2 and tier 3 might as well be the same, but there's like a very slight difference. And here's the differential, right? Here's the differential. Number of bricks. The number of bricks. I'm going to make a side note of this. I don't know how I do that. Hold up. How do we make a side note? Tier 2. We're going to put number of brick. That's the differential. Oh, I should put that actually next to tier 3. Okay, we'll put that next to tier 3. So this is the differential. Oh, Jesus Christ. The font size is huge. Why did it go so large? Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. So tier 3 is the difference between tier 2 and tier 3 is just the number of bricks. That's it. Literally. PFR says hard to rank a deck tier 1 when it's backed by so few results, talking about fairies. Yeah, man, you're just wrong. I don't know how to say it. Like, if you play the format more, you'll realize the deck's insane. It's so good. It's better than everything below it by a ridiculous margin. Like, these are the top 3 decks, and it's not even close. These are the only decks that, like, I can load up and, like, pretty much guarantee an 80+ win percent. With Blackwing, Fairy, and Well Zombie Dad, those are the only 3 decks where I'm like, I will win 80% of my matches against similar level players or lower. I will guarantee win 80% of my matches because they are just better than the rest of the decks. They're like measurably better. Okay, the number of bricks. Gladiator, Beast, and Frogs. They have a lot of bricks. Schlaffy says the Trap Glads are low-key the best version, and those basically don't run any bricks. I mean, Murmillo and Red Yari are still bricks, right? Like, and to a degree, like, is Equest, Darius, like, are these cards you want to draw? Not really. I don't really want to draw those cards. Like, I don't really want to draw a 1600 vanilla. That's pretty much it. I think Flamvel is really good. Yeah, I do think Flamvel is really good. Now, here's the question. Do you guys think Flamvel Magician and Rekindling are bricks? That's the real question, because that decides whether or not Flamvel goes in tier 2 or tier 3. And then another issue I think I have with Flamvel is it has Gladiator Beast Syndrome, where you have one play per turn. You normal summon, and that's it. You have no other stuff. PFR, results are not the only thing that go into a tier list. Like, if we were going based off of results alone, Dragon and Hero would be S tier. But those are not S tier decks, in my opinion. Like, as of right now, I don't think Dragon and Hero are S tier decks. I think they're A tier decks. Like, results alone do not dictate a tier list. That's kind of what we're trying to avoid, actually. Because if you go results alone, then your tier list will always be outdated. It will always be what just happened and not what's going to happen as well. In this tier list, we're trying to capture everything that's happening, everything that has happened, and everything that's going to happen. So we're trying to be... What's up, Breno? How's it going, man? How's your evening going? We're trying to capture basically like everything that is going to happen while taking into account everything that has happened with the tier list. Jordan Mai says, is it strange that fairies do not have a lot of representation? No, not really. Most decks don't have a lot of representation. Like, in the last tournament, the Deck Devastators tournament, 2 people played Quick Draw. And that's like the biggest deck in like that's like the hallmark deck of the format. So I don't know. I'm gonna put Flamvel down here in tier 3. I think Flamvel's good. I just think that it has a little bit too many bricks. Again, the only difference between tier 3 and tier 2 is your number of bricks. That's it. That's it. So we talked about Well Zombie. We talked about Well Zombie. I'm gonna group the other zombie decks with Well Zombie to a degree, in that I think they're insane. Other zombie decks, or Zombie X, not well, is gonna be tier 2. I think they're insane. I think the other zombie decks are really good. I think Zombie Diva and Zombie Volcanic, which is the deck that me and Carpath played on Meta Breakers, I think those 2 decks are very good. And then I even think like a more like recruiter-based zombie deck is also very good. Like, I'd say it's like a high tier 2 deck. So like these are in my opinion like solid decks. They have a low number of bricks, with the exception of Hero and Dragon. I guess, see, that's the thing. If we're going by number of bricks, what do you guys feel about Dragon Turbo? Like, the deck, obviously the good draws are insane. Like, you beat everything with the good draws. But the number of hands you brick is like in the percentage of 25 to 30%. Like, 25 to 30% of the time this deck bricks. So even though the deck can spike stuff... What's up, Peacock? How's it going? Welcome in. What do you guys think about Dragon? Time on the Round says Dark Guy at tier 3, or does that come under Hero X? That comes under Hero X. I think the Evil Hero decks that are around right now are an A tier deck. I think they're a tier 2 deck. I think they're very good, actually. I've lost to them, and they have insane draws, and the deck is very consistent. People are talking about trying to cut down bricks. Yeah, if we're just going by Dragon Turbo, the deck is very bricky. Let's look at some lists. Because, like, I might have Dragon Turbo in here. Blazen56 says Machina tier 3. I'm grouping Machina X with Carpath decks. So we'll go KFC Carpath / Machina X. I think Machina is actually tier 2. I think Machina is very good. This is the worst way to do a tier list, by the way. Never do a tier list like this. This is so cringe. I didn't want to go over the whole tier list today, but hey, we got into it. I wanted to talk about it. Sample says classic combo Cat. I think Cat is like, it's like tier 3 or below because it has so many breaks. So I'll put Cat X here. But, however, I will put X-Saber in tier 3. X-Saber is one of those decks that I personally would put in tier 2. But what's up? Nabirius Daad. How do I pronounce your name? Your last name is Victor. How do I pronounce your name? Is it Joe? Is it Joel? I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. That's an interesting thing to me. Okay, yeah, X Saber is tier 3, but I think X Saber has potential. I think X Saber could potentially be a tier 2 deck. Let's increase our window here. How do we do this? Increase the window size. No, that was not what I wanted to do. Fuck, I closed the whole thing out. God damn it. God damn it. This is why I wanted to do a tier list video. Fucking bitch. Oh my gosh. Dude, X Saber's great. I think it's really good. Okay, hold up. Let's get back to I accidentally closed the window. Didn't save it. What's up, John L? What's up, Micah? How's it going? Diva Zombies is worse than the well deck, for sure. Oh, god damn it. We gotta get rebuilt here. We gotta get rebuilt. Rebuilt different. You like this old thumbnail I did for the tier list video with Paige? That shit was funny. I love those videos. Those might be my favorite videos on the channel, are the tier list videos with Paige. Those are the ones I'll go back and rewatch. Okay, what is the fucking command for... No, I'm like trying to hotkey stuff and it's just like... Okay, hold on. Hold everybody. Canvas says is command alt... Fucking... I don't fucking know. Okay, whatever. You guys get the idea. We're just gonna make it a little bit longer. We need a longer lad. How about Doomcal Stun? I think Doomcal Stun's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. It's like Flamvel. I'd put it in the Flamvel tier. You're taking Zombie Well Dad to local tomorrow, Paul? Glad to see you're enjoying the new content, my guy. Glad to see you're digging it. Okay. Back to what we were talking about. Tier list. Oh my goodness. Gotta resize everything too. Okay, hold up. Tier list. How does that look, guys? Does that look like where we were at, kind of? Does this look like where we're at? I think Doom Caliber Knight as a card is really well situated. Okay, we've got tier 1. Dude, my fucking neighbor is like practicing. He plays like brass instruments. Why is this shit not working? Oh my gosh. Okay, hold up. He plays brass instruments and he's always like in his backyard like playing the fucking trombone or some shit. It's crazy. I'd be like what's up? Wish I had some Go or Edison locals around. I need to update the Edison local spreadsheet. I've got like 5 or 6 tournaments I gotta add to it. Maybe we do that today on stream. This is the hold Keegan accountable stream. This is the Keegan, you gotta catch up on stuff. Hydropub asked if I like jazz. I liked jazz when I'm playing it, but I don't know if I necessarily enjoy listening to it, which is like kind of a weird thing. I think jazz is like one of the most fun types of instruments, or not instruments, genres to play. Where were we? We're catching back up. Tier 3, number of bricks, and then tier 4 and below. Okay. Yeah, I know. I never talk shit, right? I never complain about him practicing his instrument. It's just like, do you gotta practice it in your front yard? Like, can you practice it in your house, my brother? It's also like, it's very different listening to someone perform something and then listening to someone practice something. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever had like a little sibling or someone who's like, you're around someone who's just starting to learn how to play an instrument and you got to hear them play the same fucking passage like 16 times over and fuck it up every single time. And you're just like, bruh. No, for sure, Sampo. Like, I'm never going to talk shit. I'm never going to talk shit to his face. I'm never going to be like, yo, you got to stop. But it's just like, man, I've been hearing you play this song for the last week. Like, can we move on to the next song, brother? Like, can we get some new material? It'd be like if I was, like, playing one deck on stream the whole time, right? Okay. Where were we? Tier 1. Blackwing X, Fairy, Well Dad, Zombie. Okay, that was the clear tier 1. Tier 2, KFC, Carpath, Machina X, Hero X. Hero X includes Evil Heroes. Always kind of sleep, by the way. I do believe that the Evil Hero, the fusion deck that the Who Needs Meta guys came up with is fucking good. I think that deck is fucking cash money. What else did I have here? I had Quick Draw. I love Quick Draw. I think it's a solid tier 2 deck. I think it's a very solid tier 2 deck. What else do we have in tier 2? You guys remember? It was like 3 seconds ago. Oh my gosh. This is so unprofessional. See, this is why I didn't want to do the tier list on the video, because I was like okay, tier 3. X-Saber. I think X-Saber is a very high tier 3 deck. I think Glad Beast is a good tier 3 deck. I think Frog is a tier 3 deck. I think we'll put Frog X, and then what else? What else did I have in tier 3? Oh, Flambeau. Let's get that on a new line. Mega Rock Dragon. Mega Rock Dragon is tier S, double S, tier 0. Yeah, okay, so the differential between tier 1 and tier 2 is noticeable. The differential between tier 2 and tier 3 is only noticeable when you're bricking. That's the differential. That's my metrics, basically. That's my metrics. What else have we got in tier 2? I know there was at least one other deck I had put here, and now I'm totally forgetting it. Oh, Lightsworn and Dragon. Nice catch, time on the round. Okay, yeah. Lightsworn, Dragon. Ooh, Dragon. Okay, we were talking dragons. Is Dragon tier 3 or is Dragon tier 2? Everybody in chat, I need your opinion. Is Dragon tier 3 or tier 2? As of right now, moving forward, do you think a deck... Do you think a deck like Dragon is tier 2 or tier 3? People are saying tier 2. Herba says tier 1. John L says Dragon Turbo can beat any deck, but any deck can beat Dragon Turbo. To be fair, I think any deck in the top 3 tiers can beat any deck in the top 3 tiers. I don't think that there's any, like, unwinnable matchups. I think the biggest differential is how well you're playing. If you're playing well and you're playing a tier 3 deck, if you're, like, playing slightly better than everyone and everyone's playing tier 2 and tier 1, you will win. You will win a large percentage of your games. The biggest differential is tier 1 stuff. Carpet says dragons are tier 4. Future Fusion is insane. I mean, it has an I win button. It has a really high ceiling, but it has a really low floor. That's how I feel about Dragon right now. That's how I feel about it. I think that the more, like, standard, like, aggro versions of dragons is better than Dragon Turbo. I think it's like a tier 2 deck. But if we're lumping in Dragon Turbo, then it might drop down to tier 3. I'm not sure. Yeah, the more controlling, yeah, Sampo, I agree. It's better than Turbo. Like, the more, like, just beatdown decks. Yes, Quarkimaru Drago is insane against the tier 1. That is definitely something that we have to consider. Like, that is definitely something we can't ignore. Okay, well, let's put dragons in tier 2. Dragon X in tier 2. I forgot Alien in tier 1. I'm actually going to make a bold pick and put Alien in tier 3. I actually think Alien's very good. I think it's like X-Saber in that, like, not enough people are exploring it, but the second people do, the deck becomes very good. Because Golgar is insane. That card is so stupid. Like, I've been playing, like, these top tier decks and had my opponent summon a Golgar and just immediately lost as a result. I think that deck is so good. Like, when you summon Golgar. When you're not summoning Golgar, the deck is embarrassing, but when you're summoning Golgar, it's just like, oh my god. This card is ridiculous. I think Golgar might be top 3 synchros in the format. Legit. It might be, like, in the same category as, like, Drill Warrior. Sampo says, where are Fortune Ladies at? Below. They're in the below category. We'll go ahead and put them, though, for the fans. We'll put Cat X here, not Saber. Don't they have the Crazy Virus card? Yes. The issue with the Crazy Virus card, while the Crazy Virus card is crazy, what is it? Planet Pollutant. We'll pull it up for you guys who don't know what it does. Planet Pollutant Virus. You tribute an alien monster, you destroy all face-up monsters without A counters your opponent controls, and then they get A counters every turn. So while this card is insane, the second copy is very bad. Like the other viruses to a degree, the second copy you draw is very bad, but the issue is, unlike the other viruses, this doesn't hurt your opponent's hand. So it's a one of, yeah. You definitely don't want to draw multiples, because the first one resolving is, like, pretty good. It's like a lightning vortex, sort of, that gives you A counter combos. But, oh, Volcanic X, that's a good point. I also had Zombie X not well here as well. let's talk volcanic. Let's talk volcanic. So I think volcanic is interesting because like it's an engine, right? That you can throw in certain decks. I think it's it's tough, man. It's tough. Cause I think volcanic as an engine is like a tier 3 engine. I think as an engine alone in a quick draw deck, I think it's tier 3. But if you put volcanic zombies, let me pull up volcanic zombies for those of you guys who don't know volcanic zombies. This is a deck that we played on Meta Breakers, actually. I think this is the first episode or second episode of Meta Breakers. I think this deck is fucking crazy. I think this deck is really good. Like this skeleton, zombies and volcanics pair better together than like the quick draws and the volcanic. Like I actually think zombies and volcanics have the most synergy. Like I think it's so good. Like just having this engine in your zombie deck to fuel your Phoenix Wings, having a proactive beater normal summon so you're not getting like fucked by virus cards, and then like being able to max Wind Blast and capitalize off of it, being able to play Pot of Avarice efficiently to shuffle back Bryonic and stuff, so you can go for multiple pushes, shuffle back Dark Armed as well. This deck is crazy good. This is like one of the coolest volcanic decks, I think. Put Insect in tier 4. I think Insect Beat is tier 3. I think Insect Beat is tier 3. I think it's like in the same tier as Flameville. And by Insect Beat, I mean not the version they were playing. The combo version is very bad. But like Insect Beat is like this. The Insect Beat is like this. This deck is good. Like this deck is objectively good. It's like a stun deck with its own like ghetto Black Whirlwind or whatever. Pretty much. Burn. Ooh, let's talk Burn. I think Burn is probably tier 2. Once people work on it a bit more. Burn is probably tier 2. Says, what is this Insect Beat deck? How long have you been away? Yeah, this deck is cursed, but it's good. 3 Man-Eater Bug. Yeah, like, think about if your Rykos floated into other Rykos. That's pretty much. The Suck Vivo says, what is Well-Dad Zombie? That's a great question. If you haven't been watching the recent videos, I did a video recently that was like, I finally broke Edison format or some clickbaity shit. We'll come back to this Insect deck in a second. All right. So this is the Well-Dead Zombie list. Also, I've seen a lot of people make variations on this list. I think this 40 cards in the main deck is perfect. I don't think you want to change this 40 cards at all. I think this is a perfect 40 cards. I think the only changes you might want to make is getting Doom Caliber into the main. But as of right now, this is the perfect 40 cards. And then the sideboard is a little bit more subject to change. But I think the only change you might want to make is getting Doom Caliber in the main. Because Doom Caliber lets you go for OTKs, basically, through Gores. That's the only reason. How do I feel about Aggro Burn? Definitely tier 2. Galrin says I'd cut Book of Life. I would not. I would not cut Book of Life. It's an important extender. I would not cut it at all. It gives you a full turn against Frog deck. So like let's say the Frog deck starts Swap Frog into whatever, into Treeborn. On your turn, you can summon Armageddon Knight, send a zombie, and then Book of Life, banish their Treeborn, and you shut them off a whole turn, basically. Why is it more Wells than Book of Life? Because Well is better than Book of Life. This card is just better. Would you rather have a card that summons 1 zombie, or would you rather have a card that summons 2 tuners? I'd rather have the card that summons 2 tuners every single day of the week. I'd rather summon 2 monsters. Especially because the monsters are Krebins, which is an insane monster. This card's very good. Do you send Krebins with Grepher? Yes, you can. You can send Krebins with Grepher, Armageddon Knight, incidentally. This deck is very fucking good. Like, this deck is really, really, really good. I think it's incredibly slept on. The fact that this deck was out and it wasn't played in Deck Devastators is insane. To me, in my opinion. But, you know, my opinions are pretty, like... I'm assuming everyone's, like, good at the format. That's the issue. Is, like, I'm assuming everyone is fucking cracked. When I make these tier lists, I'm like, this is assuming everyone knows what they're doing. Which is never the case, if we're being real. If we were to make a tier list, if nobody knew what they were doing, it would be so different. It'd be like Frogs at double S tier. It would be like fucking Blackwings double S tier. Because no one... Once you know how to beat these decks, they become a lot worse. Once you know how to beat certain decks, they become a lot worse. But, I And once you know how to play decks, they become a lot better. That's the difference, right? The power level of things kind of homogenizes a little bit more once you get better at the format. But once you're whatever, yeah, the deck is insane. Like, this deck is really good. The only cut, like I said, is if you were to cut 2 cards, you'd cut 2 monsters and get some Doom Calibers in the main. Yeah, this deck it's literally Teledad. It's literally like full power Teledad, like, for the most part. The only thing you're missing is like the upfront setup, but you just compensate with the Grepher and the Armageddon Knight, more or less. That's how this deck feels. Yeah, no one was reading well. No one was like kind of like getting into it. I mean, some people had ideas for it, right? The Suck Vivo says, do Machina and Gadgets play around side for system down? Sometimes they side Zombie World. Yes. Codaris is tier 0. Yes. Sorry, forgot to update that. Let me just get that real quick. Okay, tier 0. Godaris. Okay, sorry. My bad, guys. I can't believe I forgot that. That was just disrespectful of me. Always Kind of Sleepa says, Raunuk has consistently been number 1 on the ladder, and that guy only plays frogs. Like, he plays it really well. But I think it's hard to put it below tier 2 with that. No, the ladder doesn't matter. 100% the ladder doesn't matter. I'm going to be real. Like, it matters to a degree, but not really. Doing well with the deck on ladder is irrelevant to a tier list, in my opinion. Like, Raunuk in general is just better than most people. So, like, you're saying, like, this guy, and I mentioned this earlier in the tier list when I was talking about it. The biggest differential in Edison format is skill. If you are slightly better than everyone and you're playing a tier 2 deck or a tier 3 deck, you're going to beat everyone. If you're slightly better. Literally just slightly better. Always Kind of Sleepy says it's had consistent results even in tournaments. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it has consistent results in tournaments. If you mean that a lot of people play it and one randomly gets top here and there. I think it's had what? Raunuk won one with Diva Frogs, right? He won it. I don't even fucking remember. Does anyone have the fucking stats on this shit? I should know this. I actually should know this. We're gonna hop over to Format Library, see if we can find the stats on this stuff. Is Thestalos playable? Yes, but it's worse than the other Monarchs, generally speaking, because impacting the board is better. And then hitting a random card in hand. Okay, what are we looking at? Ooh, Hydro Pump 1 with Dark World? Poggers. Alright, where's the RBET stuff? Is there a way to sort by Edison here? Card events. Sort by RBET. Let's see. There's the Deck Devastators one. Gwari did top, yes. Gwari's list was really interesting. It had like Dark Arm Dragon and shit. Okay, where is it? Really big Edison Tournament 4. Let's click on this. Alright, what do we have in the top 8? Black Wings. Okay. Zombies. Quick Draw. Okay, Frog. So yeah, let's look at Gwari's list. This is Frog X, kind of. It's more of like a Dark X. I'm really surprised this deck doesn't play Allure of Darkness. His list doesn't play Allure of Darkness. Because I feel like Allure of Darkness would be very good in this list. You have at least 15 Darks, right? You have Trag. That's 6. No, not 15. You have 13 Darks. But that's still a good number of Darks for Allure. Like, why are you playing Upstart Goblin when you could play Allure of Darkness? I don't get that. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe he doesn't want to banish his Darks because they're his high payoff cards, but like, Allure of Darkness is insane. It's like this format's like whatever. But yeah, this is like an interesting take on Frogs because he made the effort to include Dark Armed and like Junk Synchron, and I think Junk Synchron is very good. So like, is this a Frog X deck? Yes, it is a Frog X deck, but it's not like your average Frog X deck. It has like these other cards that give mix-ups and whatnot. Where was I going? Okay. Back to the tier list. Yes. So I think Raunuk is consistently doing well because he's just better than people. Like, most people suck. I hate to say it because it's like kind of mean, but like, we're a year into exploring this format. It's not that much. There are people who are playing like GOAT format, who have been playing GOAT format competitively for like a decade, and that format is very solved, right? Like, that's just like the nature of it. And there are really good players in GOAT format. We have a couple of really good players who play Edison format. but not as many as there are playing the other solved formats. So this is a tier list with an asterisk. We're going to put an asterisk. Okay, the asterisk is assuming everyone is good. That's the asterisk we're doing. Because if we're going to make a tier list assuming everyone is mid, like mid as fuck, then like, yeah, obviously it's going to be a different tier list, right? That's the thing. RayonnaFan9 asks, will RBET be like a yearly series? This is a good question. So this is something I wanted to talk to you guys about. And I asked you guys in a recent video, like your opinions on RBET, whether or not we should continue or not. If you guys have opinions or any sort of comments, suggestions on RBET, just throw it in the chat right now, and we'll talk about it. So this year, RBET was kind of a test run for me personally. I was like, I want to see how big I could make an alt format. Like, I want to see if I can throw like a consistent regional level event. That was kind of my goal with RBET this year. As it stands, next year, I have a few hesitations with continuing it as like a yearly thing or guaranteeing it as a yearly thing. Next year, I am definitely doing at least 3 RBETs. So there's a couple reasons for this. The first reason is the viewership is like not as good as it should be for how much time it takes. It takes like keep in mind, guys, like I am doing the YouTube stuff part-time. If I was doing it full-time, it would be no question, no brainer. I would do the RBET series, guaranteed. But as of right now, like the YouTube stuff is part-time for me. So I have to take 2 days where it's like 12 plus hour days to do it. And then on top of that, I'm contributing like out of pocket a lot of times to the prize pool because or I'm like asking for donations to the prize pool more or less because I don't like charging an entry fee. Basically. And then on top of that, the viewership is just not as good as it needs to be for me to like want to do another 6 of these realistically. Like on average, and I hate to do stuff like based off of viewership, but like you got to take that into account to a degree. The Suck Vivo says you need more people to help coordinate. I mean, we have a pretty good team on Format Library. Like Jazz, the bot is pretty smooth running. The judges, Mika and recently Shadow the Hedgehog and Cameron and all the other judges like who have helped out YuGiOh in the previous events. They're really solid. Like they make the events run as smooth as possible. And we're for sure going to do at least 3 RBET next year. Like, I'm not saying I'm not doing RBET. Like, I really do like doing the tournament. I really do enjoy it. But it's like 2 12-hour days on my weekend every other month. It's been, like, I don't know. Like, to the point where, like, RBET5, like, I actually have, like, some anxieties doing it. Straight up. Jordan Mai says, I think you should charge an entry fee. I don't like that. I personally don't like that. I get it. Like, I could do that. And it would probably cut the tournaments in size by, like, 75%, realistically. Like, we'd be getting, like, 25% of the attendance. Realistically. So, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it all. It depends. It really depends. Like, if the channel blows up, like, if we hit exactly Control-Alt-Defeat, I think money is, like, really the only thing. Like, if I was getting, like, better viewership, which is on me, right? Like, I got to grow the channel. And that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to, like, do a video every single day. I've been trying to, like, make the channel grow so that the events can be good. Like, that's really, like, the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, thanks, Andre. I appreciate that. Yeah, like, but at the end of the day, like if I'm taking 2 12-hour days off on a weekend, which is normally, like, I'm in the music industry. That's normally, like, my busiest days or weekends. And then, like, where else was I going with this? Like, if I'm doing that, like, frequently, and then I'm also spending money to do that, it's like, yeah. John L says it's crazy people won't chip in a few bucks for entry, but will spend 8 hours on the tourney. It's not that people won't do it. That's the thing. It's not that people won't do it. It's just that I don't like that. I want to have my cake and eat it too. If the channel hits 10K by the end of this year, which is, like, part of my goal, like, I really want to hit 10K by the end of the year. If the channel hits 10K subs by the end of the year, I think I could get like a pretty consistent sponsorship for the tournaments that is paying the rate that I want them to pay. But like even like the last, like I'm not going to say anything about the sponsorships that I got this year because I'm very grateful for them. But I've received a few offers where they're offering a certain amount, but I don't want to undervalue that. You know what I mean? Like I want more, basically. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. I'm being greedy a little bit, but I would like for the sponsor to basically cover the cost of like the stream and the prize pool, and then on top of that also cover like judges' salary. And it's been hard to negotiate that from the sponsors that have offered. What's up, the Top Cut Podcast? How are you guys doing tonight? Shout outs to the Top Cut Podcast. Yeah, exactly. Goblin Punch 123. Fundraising for big events would solve a lot of stuff. Hydropump says sponsor for RBET2 is Pog. Kinda. Hydropump. There was like the stuff you guys don't see is like I had to pitch to the sponsor, right? So that's another, like, I have to create a pitch deck. I created a 10-page pitch deck for the sponsor. I talked about the trajectory of the channel. I talked about the, like I did a lot of stuff. I had multiple meetings with the sponsor, right? I had, like, it essentially was like 20 hours out of my life to get that sponsor. And that to me isn't worth it if the sponsor's only going to be contributing to the prize pool and they don't want to contribute to the commentators or contribute to the judges. They just want to be, you know, a face that contributes to the prize pool, which is like basically what I've been trying to negotiate is like a split where it's like, okay, you guys are contributing this much to the prize pool and you guys are contributing this much to pay the commentators and pay the judges as well. That's what I've been trying to negotiate with the sponsor offers I've had. Most sponsors just want to contribute to the prize pool, but the issue isn't like that, I suppose. Like, yes, contributing to the prize pool will make for the bigger event, but then you have this issue of like, I have a bigger event and we need more judges, and how are we getting all these judges to do stuff for free? Like, they're doing this out of their goodwill, of course, but like, yeah. Top Gun Podcast. Yeah, of course. Like, commentators are usually not too hard to find on the day of the events, but, Jarrell says, what is God Airs? Oh, sorry. Let me clarify. Code Airs. Praise be unto Code Airs. Yeah. So like, again, like even though there was a sponsor for the fucking RBET2, it's like, yeah, it's just like, it's a lot of work to get that sponsor. And then on top of that, like, I get nothing out of it. Like I got nothing out of the RBET2 sponsorship besides like viewership. And the viewership does not like, I'm not going to say the RBET VODs make on average $30 to $40 from viewership, but that's about how much they make. Like the full tournament VODs make like $30 to $40 from like ad revenue. So it's not a lot. It's not a lot of money, basically. So like, you get where I'm going with all this. You get what I'm saying. If we could hit 10K, that's like a big marketing point to sponsors. That's kind of my goal for this year, is if I can hit 10K, then the RBET series could potentially pay for itself by the end of the next year. Have I tried contacting Joji Orlando? No. Why would I contact Joji Orlando? What do I get from contacting him? Does he want to collab? Is he reaching out to me? What is the... Ask Elon Musk for sponsorship? Yeah, I'll just run a fucking crypto ad. That's what you guys want to see, right? Fucking Coinbase ads like a year after the crash, Kappa. Oh, man. That's the thing, man. That's the thing. And then, like, the issue, too, is, like, getting re-sponsorships and stuff. Yes, Sam Brown, the collabs are huge. Someone mentioned earlier collab with Simo. I would like to one day do something with him. That'd be fun. Just a fun video. It doesn't necessarily have to be anything too serious, but just a fun video with him would be fun. Raid Shadow Legends Kappa. Konami, get the Konami rep. I think once I hit 10K, I can maybe like try and get a Konami rep too. That'd be sick. I want a Konami rep. That'd be cooler to me than like a sponsor. Have a big YuGiTuber commentate top 8. I've reached out to big YuGiTubers in the past. It's just a little difficult because they're very busy. They're very busy people. Did we hit 6K? Did we just hit 6K? Is that what's happening? Are we there? Did we hit 6K? Yo, shout out to you guys. That's fucking crazy. We're pretty close. We're pretty close to 10K, which is like the goal to make RBET sustainable. I think at 10K, we could make RBET sustainable. But I think anywhere below it, it's going to be a little bit difficult, more or less. Multiple concurrent live streams of the event with commentators doing multiple teams. That sounds like it would just split viewership, the Top Cut podcast, unless it was like other people bringing their own stuff. Bim Bom Ban says, is Konami chill with Dueling Book? They kind of have to be, right? Because there's no alternative. Like, they're the ones who put on Time Wizard formats, right? Like, I feel like if they were upset with DB, they would have stopped it a long time ago. They realize that DB is probably good for them. It's a lot less responsibility for them to run the platform. And then it gives people a way to spread their game. It's like basically free marketing for them, Dueling Book is. And it's also like, it's a game they don't have to dev. So they're like, they basically get all of the bonuses of like having a master duel like thing, manual Dueling Book type thing, without having to dev it themselves, which is nice. Moist Critical? Yeah, that'd be sick. I'd do a Moist Critical collab, obviously. He's a cool guy. He's a really cool guy. I've heard nice things about him from the people that I know who have talked to him. He's a really cool guy. Yeah, exactly, Victor. I agree. What's up, Ulysses? How many people watch your videos are unsubscribed? Like, realistically, what percentage would you need to hit 10K? So as of right now, I shout it out in every video, but it's roughly 45 to 50% of the people who watch the videos aren't subscribed, which is disproportionate to my returning viewers. So like most of the people who watch my videos are returning viewers. 90% of the people who watch my videos are returning viewers. I don't bring in a lot of new traffic because it's hard to funnel new people into Edison format unless I'm attaching like Pokemon to it, or I'm attaching like current format YuGiOh to it, or I'm attaching an insane clickbait to it. It's kind of hard to bring people into an old format who aren't already interested, basically. So most of my 90% of my viewership is returning viewers, but only 50% of the people who watch my videos are subscribed. So there's 40% there that are people who are coming back and watching my videos, but are not subscribed for no reason. It's really annoying. It's actually like, it's like, how do you get people to just click a button? I don't know. Like, they like the content because they're coming back and watching the videos, you know? I asked DB Grinder to do a collab, and he said he didn't like Edison format. That was his response. So, Sag, I guess, very Sag. I asked him to do a collab a little while back, and that was his response. Yeah. I have a lot of respect for that guy. I have a lot of respect for Dueling Book Grinder. Nothing personal, but it's just not something he's interested in, which is totally understandable. Andre says, if Konami made minimal effort, I legit think Edison would blow up. They did make minimal effort this year. I think them doing Time Wizard and running side events, I think that's pretty good. And I think as a result, we've seen Edison grow quite a bit, which is tight. Maybe that's just my perspective on it. I'm comparing Edison to something like Flesh and Blood, more or less, which is like, it's a very grassroots oriented thing, but there's a lot of interest in it just because it's kind of like this, it's like this weird in between. It's kind of like a progression series in its own right because the format's so diverse and so whatever. And then on the other hand, it's like, let's go ahead and look at some deck lists while we're talking this stuff. Robin says DB Grinder wasn't around during this format, so it sort of makes sense. I agree. Nesh and Pack collab could happen. Yeah, I'd be down if they were interested. I'd hit up Pack, but he doesn't follow me back on Twitter, so can't DM him, unfortunately. But I would hit him up. I don't know Nesh personally, but Sam Brown says his fairy's a meme. Absolutely not. I think it's one of, if not the best deck in the format. Okay, what have we got? Insect Beat. I was talking about Insect Beat a little bit earlier. Let's go back to this. I think this deck is good. I think it's like a tier 3 deck. Let's go ahead and put Doom Caliber Stun on here. I know Sampo was talking about Doom Caliber Stun. I think Doom Caliber Stun is like akin to Flamvel. It's very similar. Maybe a little better. Or like Stun X. What else are we missing? What decks are we missing from this tier list, everybody? What decks are we missing? Deified Cupcake says playing on Beyond servers during Edison. That's based. Shout out to Deified Cupcake. If you guys watched the Infernity video, the Infernity Meta Breakers episode, Deified Cupcake came up with that deck. That's a sick deck. That's a very sick deck. Shout out to Deified Cupcake. Maximilian Wentz. Edison format is the only format I can play Moki Moki in. Therefore, it is the only format that matters. I concur. I concur, Maximilian Wentz. Wentz? Where did he go? Just kidding. Rock and Fiend. Dark Gaia. Dark Gaia is under the Hero X. I think it's an A tier deck. Monster Mash. Okay. Puppet Masters Meta Breakers 1. Monster Mash. Okay, let's get... Macro Stun I'm going to put under Doom Caliber Stun. It's tier 3. It has a shitload of breaks. Monster Mash I'm going to put in tier 3 as well. Vayu Turbo is Blackwing X. They're the same deck to me. The overlap is too similar at this point. It's largely a Blackwing deck at the end of the day. Like, if you're playing, like, 7+ Blackwing cards in your deck and you have 5+ Blackwing monsters in your extra deck, you're a Blackwing deck. There are some weird decks. Yeah, there are some weird decks. Flip control deck. Oh, that deck sucks. Time on the round. That to me is like a cat level deck. That deck is really bad. Yeah, it's all good cards on paper, but then when you're playing the game and you draw like double hamster, double spy, and your opponent just summons a Machina Fortress, you're like, fuck, I lose. Yeah, it doesn't do anything because the deck is bad. Like, straight up. Like, there's a reason why you can't just overload on your flip effect openers because they're slow as shit. Fish is Frog X. Always kind of sleepy. Fish would be under Frog X. Because you're never playing Fish without Frog. I mean, you can. There's a Mausoleum Fish deck, which is very interesting and I think quite good, personally. But it's a little bit worse because you can't play Cold Wave, so it's like kind of in that same camp of like tier 3-ish. Coderis with Pseudospace, based. Absolutely based. Absolutely tier 0 based. Battery Man is below. Tier 4 and below. I'll put it there though, so people understand my thoughts on the deck. Tier 4 and below is like your number of bricks significantly exceeds your number of payoffs. What's Battery Man Charger? What deck is that? Or what card is that? Battery Man Charger. Is this card legal? I don't fucking know. This card sucks ass. Even if it's legal, who fucking cares? I'm going to tribute a monster, summon this, and then special a shittier monster than the monster I tributed from my deck. This card sucks balls. Gravekeepers. Gravekeepers is tier 4. I think it's worse than all of the tier 3 decks. Wicked Avatar. What does that card even do? I don't know what that card does. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Wicked Avatar. Orb. If this card is normal summoned, your opponent cannot activate spell or trap cards until the end of their second turn after this effect's activation. This card's attack and defense are equal to the highest attack on the field plus 100. Huh. Hey, this is kind of cool. This is a cool card. Until their second turn. So what does this mean? What does this mean? Their next turn they can't, but then the next turn after that they can? Is it just a Cold Wave for the opponent? Is that it? It's a Cold Wave, but then it also gives you the next turn as well. This is pretty good. This card's pretty good. I like this. Yeah, I like the orbs in chat. That's funny. What's up, Noni? How's it going? Diamond Dude TCG. I don't think it's 2 Cold Waves. I think it's like 1.5 Cold Waves, right? Oh, until the end of their second turn. Oh, okay. I didn't read that. Oh, it is 2 Cold Waves. You might be onto something. How do we get 3 tributes? That's the question. How do we get 3 tributes? Treeborn, that's 1. What are the other 2? What are the other 2? This is the same issue as Frog Obelisk. Where do we get the 3 tributes? The Suck Vivo says Sidra? No, that conflicts with Treeborn. Sidra and Treeborn would not work together. It is 2 one-sided Cold Waves. They can still set cards if they wanted to. Dandelion. Okay, so we foolish Dandelion, and then the tokens have to survive a full turn because we can't tribute them the same turn. So that's not ideal because your tokens aren't surviving. Okay, we're talking Treeborn, Econ, BrainCon, Treeborn, Soul Exchange, BrainCon. So we need Wicked Avatar, we need Treeborn, and then we need 2 control spells, and we need 2 targets for them. So it's a 4-card combo. It's a 4-card combo, and your opponent needs to put 2 monsters into play against your frog deck and stick them. The Suck Vivo says, why does it conflict? So Cyber Dragon, the way Cyber Dragon works, oh, I have it here on the side. If your opponent controls a monster, if only your opponent controls a monster. So when I special summon Treeborn Frog from my graveyard, I control a monster. I can't special summon Cyber Dragon from my hand. Basically. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's my issue, right? And it's the same issue with the Obelisk Frogs. Is where am I getting the other 2 tributes from? Like, is there a way to get the other 2 tributes using less cards? Yes, there is. And I have a deck like this. And I've played a deck like this. Let me see if I have it. I think I do. I think I do have it. Here it is. This is the cheapest, most economic way to get 3 tribute monsters into play is using Hamster and Gravekeeper Spy alongside Soul Exchange. Or, in this instance, Treeborn Frog. So you would set a Spy, you would set a Hamster, and then you would either have a Soul Exchange or you would have a Treeborn Frog. And then when you have those cards, that's your 3 tributes. And it's only 2 cards to set up for your 3 tribute monster. Whereas every other combination, where it's just like Treeborn Frog plus Soul Brain, like that shit, that's a 3-card setup. That's a 3-card setup. This list is not optimal or whatever, but I imagine it'd have to be something similar to this in order to support the Wicked Avatar or to support Obelisk, the Tormentor. These very high power 3 tribute monsters. And then on top of that, the issue is like, okay, I've resolved my Wicked Avatar. I've resolved it, okay? My opponent, I've spent 4 cards, right? I've spent 4 out of my cards to summon this Wicked Avatar, right? Now on top of that, this card's attack is 100. So I've cold waved my opponent twice, but as you guys, I'm sure, are aware, cold wave pass is not very good. It's not very good because my opponent can just do nothing. And then I have to do something in order to capitalize off the cold wave pass, or else I'm just going minus. So like, let's say I summon Wicked Avatar, right? Let's say I summon the orb. Summon the orb. I have to kill my opponent. I still have to kill my opponent. Otherwise, 2 turns are going to pass, and that cold wave's not going to matter. It's not netting me any measurable advantage. Whereas at least when I'm summoning Obelisk the Tormentor, they have to respond to this, or they die. Straight up. Whereas Wicked Avatar, they could do nothing, take 200 damage, and then just play the game normally after that. I have to have not only the 3 tributes to summon this card, but I have to have, yeah, exactly, time on the round. I need to have pressure afterward. So I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. Upon like thinking about it, it would not be worth the effort to summon. It is cool. It is very cool. If there was a way to make this consistent and then on top of that, abuse the fact that you've cold waved your opponent twice, okay, now we're talking. But as it stands, I think it's just a little bit too much input investment for a non-threatening card. Wicked Dreadroot, what does that card do? This is just bad Obelisk, right? This is just Obelisk that you can bottomless. I guess you can allure this away. What's Wicked Eraser? What does this guy do? Equal to the number of cards your opponent controls times 1,000. They'll just play no cards. Or they'll play like a Sangan and crash with it. Yeah, that's not very good. That's not very good. This guy says you can sacrifice it, basically. Well, I guess if it's destroyed, you get to destroy all cards on the field. But again, they'll just like summon a Goblin Zombie attack over it. Like it's just not it. Fires of Doomsday is a full card for 2 tributes. Yes, that does work. That does work with the Wicked cards. Okay. Now we're talking. Fires of Doomsday does work. This card does work. Now we're talking. Is it better to summon Avatar or is it better to summon something like Destiny Hero Plasma? Thoughts on Assault Mode Stardust deck? I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna put it in tier 3. We're gonna put it in tier 3. This is an ongoing tier list video. This is an ongoing discussion / tier list video. I like it. Stardust Assault Mode. I'll put Stardust Assault Mode. Dark Simorgh over Wicked. Dark Simorgh is good. Diamond Dude says, I have a friend who is playing Wicked Avatar and Tearlaments to blank mine and Dark Ruler no more because it doesn't need to stick for the cold waves. You can fuse it afterward. That's fucking crazy, Diamond Dude TCG. That's based and crazy. It's crazy that that's viable. But very based. Very, very based. Plasma is amazing. I think Plasma is pretty good, yeah. If you can summon it. Invader of Darkness. This card slept on. Very slept on. Stops Burial. Stops Book of Moon. GG. Stops the Power Well. Of course, John L. Plasma plus Treeborn is equals Treeborn plus 1 of Diva or Phantom Skyblaster. Yes. The cool thing about Plasma, too, is it's not a normal summon. So I can, like, Treeborn, you know, enemy controller, do all that shit. Where's Jinzo? I don't know, bro. Where is Jinzo? Where'd he go? Okay, back to the tier list. Back to the tier list. That was a fun aside. That was a fun aside. Back to the tier list, everybody. How you guys doing tonight? Everybody who's with me right now, how are you guys doing? Everybody having a good night? Having a good evening? Fun stream? Enjoying the discussion? Enjoying everything? One thing I do want to talk about too is Wave Motion YuGiOh. We're going to get into that in a bit. Wave Motion YuGiOh is a limited series I've been doing with RJ and Sophie and Golden Nova YuGiOh, and last week we also had it with Noah Jank. It's a limited series. Top Cut Podcast still doesn't know what Godaris is. My brother in Codaris. What are you talking about? How do you not know what that is? How do you not know what Godaris is? It's literally tier 00, double S plus tier. Recovering from surgery. I hope you have a speedy recovery, Enraged Peacock. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. Godaris control. Noni says the stream is a good distraction. I kind of want to stream more. Oh, plans for second channel. Let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about that because that's actually a good idea. If you guys don't know, I started a second channel. I started a second channel called Elephant in the Room. There's a link to it in the description. I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about my plans for that as well today. Is there anything we're missing from the tier list? That's the question. That's the question that I've got for you guys. Is there anything missing from the tier list? Or is it looking okay to you guys? Someone says Disaster Dragon tier 2. Yeah, Dragon X is tier 2, yeah. It's right there. Water Monster decks, that would fall under Godaris, because if you're playing Water Monster, you're playing Godaris. Pardon me, I got a cough. I'm going to mute my mic real quick. Noni says Mausoleum, the deck is probably 3rd or 4th. I'm lumping Mausoleum in with KFC, because I think that's the best Mausoleum deck. Have been testing Codaris with Flamvels and UFO Turtle. That's cursed. That's cursed, Maximilian Wentz. Black Garden. That would fall under Volcanic X. I'd probably put Black Garden in tier 2 or tier 3. In between, maybe. We'll put it in tier 3 just because 0 results. But I like that deck. I think it's pretty good. Would love to see videos of duels with you commentating. Okay. What do you mean Control Alt Defeat? What do you mean by videos of duels with me commentating? Do you mean me playing the duels or me just watching somebody's duel and then adding commentary to it? That'd be kind of cool. I'd be down to do that, like live duels. Like using paper. Oh, okay, yeah. Over the table. Okay, yeah. Let's talk about new channel stuff because this is where we're going with this. This is where we're going with this. In terms of like over the table stuff. Is Codaris really that great? Descodo, no, it's a meme. It's a meme. I know you're new to Edison, so if you're new to Edison, you're watching this, it's just a meme. It's just a meme. But if you're not new to Edison, then you know. Then you know Godaris is undefeatable. Undefeatable. Undefeatable is not even a word. Unbeatable. There we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. Flamvel Relinquished is tight. Honestly, Relinquished X. Wait. Hot take. Relinquished X. Tier 2. I think it's good. I think Relinquished is good as fuck. I think Preparation of Rites is insane. I think Relinquished is insane. It's literally Thousand Eyes, but like slightly worse. Like slightly worse Thousand Eyes. It's very good. It's very good. Demise X. Demise X is probably tier 4. I think. Demise Salvo, I guess. I'll put Demise Salvo. Because that's like the only Demise deck that I really know. The issue with Demise decks is like, 2000 is a lot of life points, and then there's only one Advanced Ritual Art and only 2 Demise. So you're just like not hitting your stuff very consistently. 6 Sams. I think 6 Sams is tier 4, but it's high tier 4. I think it's high tier 4. Yeah, it's got potential. The issue is like I mentioned before, tier 4 means you have more bricks than you have payoffs. So your payoff in 6 Samurai, let's go ahead and look at a 6 Samurai deck list for those of you who don't know what Edison 6 Samurai looks like. It looks like this, right? Let's look at these monsters. Iroh, this card sucks. Yaichi, this is a 1300 vanilla. Zanji, this card sucks. It's a Lajin. Keimon, are you kidding me? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why is this card in my deck? Spirit of the 6 Samurai, mid as fuck. Hand of the 6 Samurai, 1600 is a really bad stat line in this format. It's like one of the worst stat lines you could have. Because it's weaker than everything, but still strong enough to get hit by bottomless. So it's like, it's the worst stat line in this format. All of these cards suck. Grandmaster is the only good monster. Gateway and United are the only good payoff cards. So you have 6 payoff cards, but you have to play a critical mass of really shitty creatures to make them work. So it's bad. It's a tier 4. Tier 4 is when you have 1 payoff and then like X bricks, where X is like greater than 5, more or less. Spellcasters. All right, Spellcasters is interesting. Let's do another hot take. Let's put Spellcasters in tier 2. Sampo says, how about the infinite pop? Is there an infinite pop? If you have double gateway, you have an infinite pop with hand, right? That's pretty good. I mean, that's pretty good, but you have to have double gateway. Like I said, you have to have 2 payoff and 1 brick in your hand. It's just unlikely. It's just very unlikely. What does Spellcasters look like? That's a good question. I'm glad you brought it up. We'll get into that in a second. Just want to catch up on chat. Has Diva Hero fallen off? Yes. Actually, it has. It has fallen off quite a bit. I think people realize it just breaks a little bit too much. Lately, though, if we go over to our top 8 deck lists, this is not where I want to be. Is this where I want to be? No, this is not where I want to be. I think I want to be at Deck Devastators. The most recent event, Deck Devastators 1, which is an event hosted on edisonformat.com Discord. Really fun event. Really fun event. There was a Hero Beat deck that I think looks very good. So this is technically a Diva Hero deck, piloted by user Richie. Technically a Diva Hero deck. I don't know who that is, MQS. Is that a D's Nuts joke? Is Gargalon these nuts? Is that a joke? Joanna Gargalon these nuts? Yeah, that's real funny. That's a good one. You almost got me. You almost, very funny. Wow, ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Ha ha. Everybody in chat laugh. Everybody in chat type laughter right now. Let him know how funny his joke was. He wanted to be rewarded with funny points. Okay, back to the discussion. We've got Deep Sea Diva Diva Heroes. This Diva Hero deck I think is tight. I think there's a few issues. I think Spined Gilman is bad. You know, it's pretty bad, but I think this list is fire. There was a list that topped a Swedish tournament that I covered on the channel, I think a week ago or 2 weeks ago, roughly 14 days ago. And I think this sort of structure for the deck is good. I think this sort of structure is good because you have the Diva part, which is the payoff of the Diva Hero decks, but you've cut all of the like Caius evil guy stuff, which can brick and make for awkward draws, and instead you've included Neos Alias, which also shores up the deck's weakness. The deck's weakness, which was Royal Oppression, and the other weakness, which is like Hamster Raiko. So I think this improves the deck drastically, and I think it's a great approach to this deck. I think it's a very good approach. Additionally, I like how Malicious and Diva make Stardust very easily, and Stardust works very well with Skilled Rain. So I think that that's a cool combination that this deck has that not a lot of other decks have. I think this is a good way to approach Diva Hero in the future. I think this is a very good way to approach Diva Hero in the future. It is a little normal summon reliant. You got to be careful of that, but Miracle Fusion kind of helps with that. I think one thing you might want to consider is Call of the Haunted. I think Call of the Haunted is a pretty good addition to decks like this. I think Future Fusion is a card you should probably be playing in this deck. If I'm being real, the reason he's not playing Future Fusion doesn't make sense to me. I would definitely be playing Future Fusion in this deck because that card's top 3 card in the format. But in general, this direction I think is pretty good for Diva Hero. So I think Diva Hero, it has the chance to respond to it falling off. But I think the issue is that the more previous lists, they were breaking a little bit more than like the Well-Dead Zombie decks are. And the Well-Dead Zombie decks are just doing the same thing but better, more or less. Low-key deck with Stratos plus 3 Searchers should almost always be on call. I agree. I completely agree. Call Stratos is insane. Okay, this is going to be part 2, which is going to be new channel talk. But we'll get into that after we're done doing tier list stuff. I want to wrap up the tier list stuff. I want to get this. Well, actually, you know what? Maybe we'll just keep the tier list going throughout the whole whatever. Yeah, no worries, Christian. I even have frogs on the tier list? I do. Frog X right here, tier 3. You play the bricky version at the moment. I mean, I think the bricky version of Diva Hero is still good. Like, I still think it is a tier 2 deck. Because the bricks are largely minimized by the fact that you can convert them really easily. And then you also have, like, insanely high ceiling. Like, the deck's ceiling is so ridiculous. Stratos Windblast Diva is basically an FTK. Like, it's literally, like, it's so good. It's so gross. If your opponent has even a slightly slow start and you start Stratos Windblast Diva, you're winning the game. Where's that list I have pulled up? The thing about this list is it has the maximum amount of that FTK, which is tight. You have 3 Diva, you have 3 Windblast, you have 4 ways to find Stratos. So you have the highest amount of starting the broken draw, basically. So I like that. I like that about this deck. Is he recognized what was broken about the deck and then just maxed it out. John L. asked, where are Earthbounds? I've never seen an Earthbound deck. I've never seen one. I had a fun Earthbound deck that played Choco Cola, or whatever his name is. Earthbound. Immortal. So I had a fun stall deck that played the Choco Cola one. I don't know how to pronounce this name. Chaku Chalwa. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But yeah, I had a Stallburn deck. I'm trying to remember what it looked like. It was like basically Jose Luis Escobar asks, where is Zombie Hero? Okay, so Zombie Hero, like the Silchus Ruin versions of the deck that play Deep Sea Diva, is Zombie X. Zombie X, not Well Dad. I think the Well Hero Dad Zombie deck is just the best variation of all of that. So let me pull that list up. If you guys want to play zombies, heroes, and a tuner engine that summons multiple 2-star tuners, I think this is the best way to play it. Because you get Deep Sea Diva. You get the upside of Deep Sea Diva, right? You get the telekinetic power well, but you don't spend your normal summon on it. So you can make a huge burst play. You can go like normal summon Goblin Zombie and telekinetic power well all in the same turn. Whereas like in the Diva Zombie Hero X decks, you need to stick a monster in play. You need to have your Pyramid Turtle float into a Goblin Zombie and then summon the Diva. It's like 1 turn slower, basically. Bim Bom Ban says, have I tried Well Dad with no Well? Yes, I've played Teledad, yes, but it's worse because you don't have that Diva power play. This is what you need. Yes, this deck is better than back in the day because you can actually play Destiny Underground without breaking the bank. Although, to be fair, back in the day, or not Destiny Underground, sorry, Dark End Dragon. Back in the day, Dark End Dragon was going for like $300, $350, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I remember it being one of the most affordable prize cards ever. Which is kind of funny because like if you think about it now, like this was like a really inaccessible, like super like top of the line card back in the day. You think it was 800 back in the day? I remember it being really cheap. I remember it being one of the cheapest prize cards. I don't remember it being over 1,000. I remember it definitely being like a 3-figure card. But if you're thinking about it like in a sense like compared to modern Yu-Gi-Oh now, like let's say this card was like Darth Munchie says you could get a super rare one. Not during 2010. The super rare one didn't come out till way later. Ty Holland, signups for RBET are now open. So if you guys want to sign up, you can sign up now. We opened signups a little bit early. Had one for 800 at one point. Gore says it was cheaper than your mom. That's a compliment, I think. Are you saying that the mom is high priced? I'm confused by this statement. But yeah, if you compare it to like modern Yu-Gi-Oh, basically like if you were buying like a Starlight Rare Pot of Prosperity, that's like the same as like a Shonen Jump prize card one of back in the day. And people are out here buying like 3 Prosperity for their deck nowadays, like Starlight Rare. Like I don't. It was only available as a prize card, yes. Yes, it was only available as a prize card at the time of Shonen Jump Championship Edison. I remember it being like relatively affordable. Noni says it was probably cheaper because you technically only need one. Yes, and also it was very widely handed out, if I remember correctly. It's okay, Gors. It's okay. I forgive you. Okay, where was I? Spellcasters. What do spellcasters look like? What do they look like? It's a good question. Let me pull up one of my lists. Let me see if I have anything cool. This one's labeled Edison Dark Magician. Oh yeah, this is a cursed list. Erebus says, what do you think of reducing Grepher and Armageddon down to 1 each to make room for 2 Caliber Knight? I would just cut like a tomato for Doom Caliber Knight. And then maybe cut one of the Armageddon and Grepher cards. But I like the Armageddon and Grepher cards because they basically guarantee you a late game push. They basically guarantee it. And they also give you early game access to like all your synchros and stuff. I think Grepher's really good. I'm not sure about 2 Armageddon, but like you could go down to like 1 tomato and add 1 Doom Caliber. MQS asks what tier is Dragon Turbo. We have Dragon X in tier 2. I think Dragon Turbo specifically is probably tier 3 because it breaks so much. But Tomato's a good card. Exactly. That's why I haven't changed the 40 card list because I think those 40 cards are perfect. I don't think there's really any need to change it. I don't think the upside of having the Doom Caliber Knights in the main is like quite worth it. It's very close to worth it. Okay. DD Scout Plane Monarch. So this is very interesting. I actually saw a video on YouTube. I'm going to see if I can pull it up. I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm going to shout out this video. Or this channel. I think it's like Edison Format Italia or something. I think it's the channel. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the right channel. But yeah. Shout out Edison Format Italia. They have a video here talking about Macro Monarchs. There's a first place Macro Monarch deck list on their channel. I loaded that deck list into my deck builder. Right? We'll talk about spellcasters in a second. I want to cover this real quick before I forget about it. Where is it? I have it in here somewhere. It's like under Macro Monarch. Whatever. I loaded the deck list into the builder. I played like 20 games with it. I was like, this won a tournament? I went like 2-18 with the deck. I think the deck is bad. Like outright really bad. It is not hang. It is not hang against like people online. It just not hang. I put Macro Monarch in tier 4 and below. I'm shocked that it got first place at a tournament. I don't know how. The deck is weak to everything. It is legit weak to everything. It is so bad. Let me see if I can find the list. I know I have it in here somewhere. Sorry, I have a million decks in here. Oh, here it is. I think this is the list. Now, this is the list with some slight changes. I made a few changes to the deck list because it was really, really bad. He had like 7 Monarchs, 3 Fader. I think the list was 41 cards, which doesn't make a lot of sense. And then I think he had like, I don't remember, but it looked like this. I don't know if he had Trag. And I added a second Thestalos because I wanted a proactive Monarch to play. And he had Scout Planes, that's what it was. He had Scout Plane. I don't even think he had Rhoda. I think he just had 3 Scout Plane. Or something like this. It was either 2 or 3 Scout Plane. But this card is so fucking bad. Like, this card is a fucking terrible card. It does nothing. And it just loses to it. Like, literally, they just oppression these. You just oppression these. Yeah, Strike Ninja with Scout Plane is cool. I think that's tight. Because, like, once your Scout Plane's in the graveyard, you can actually convert off of it. But, like, I was getting so many draws where it was, like, in 41, I was just not seeing the macro or the D-Fissure consistently. And then, like, I would just, like, summon a Cyber Valley. And my opponent would just go, okay, Special Cyber Dragon, Contact, like, set Raikou. I would just lose to set Raikou. I would draw Soul Exchange with no Monarch because there was only 7 Monarchs. I would draw, like, Mind Control, no Cyber Valley. I was drawing, like, awful combinations of, like, the Floodgates, like, multiple D-Fissure, macro, with, like, no conversion. I would draw, like, I don't know if it had Return in the deck or if it had the Dust Tornado deck. I don't remember the exact deck list. I changed it. I made changes to it because I thought, like, the changes would help. And the changes did help. Like, these changes did make the deck list better. Like, this is a better version of the list on that channel. But it's still very bad. It is still a deck I cannot recommend in good faith. Jason K says, Macro Monarch without Diva sucks. I think Macro Monarch, no matter how you play it, sucks. Because I think Monarchs need too much to go for them, and the macro stuff needs too much to go for them. I think if you're going to play macro, you want to play this type of deck list. No, not this. This is shit. Don't look at this. This is shit. We're deleting this right now. Don't look at this. That was a fail. That was an L. No. If you want to play macro, you want to play this type of deck list. There. No. This is also a fail. Don't look at this. This is not accurate. Well, this is more accurate. But this is not accurate. What is it? Where is it? It's like DD Survivor Control or something. I think it's like under like Stun. What have I labeled this? Stun. Is it under Stun? Oh my god, dude. I need to be better about labeling my decks. No, it's not under Stun. This is not a good look. Or is it DD Beat? Is that what it is? Oh my gosh, dude. I need to label my decks better. I have so many decks in this fucking builder. I need to make a day where I just go clear it. Oh, where the fuck is it? Where is it? Oh, that's so tilting. I have a list somewhere on the channel. Oh, I have it. It's under my deck devastation testing. That's what it is. It's labeled differently. Here it is. It's Banisher Stun. Okay. This is the list I would play. If I was going to play a Macro Cosmos deck, this is the list I would play. I might try to get a second Macro Cosmos in here. But, like, this is what I would play. Because you just don't need the Monarchs. Like, if you think about it, like, I'm summoning a Caius. I'm sacrificing a monster, right? Can I show the current tier list again? Yeah, we'll flash over to that real quick. Take a screenshot real quick. Okay, we're going back. Yeah, if we're playing this, this is how I would play Macrocosmos and Dimensional Fissure. This is the list I was actually testing for Deck Devastators. This is the exact list I was testing for Deck Devastators. John L says Macro Super Mid. I disagree. I think Macro and Dimensional Fissure are very good cards. I think they're very good. I just think that you need to find the right balance of it all. And I don't think I've quite found it in this main deck. I think the issue with this main deck is if you look at it, DD Survivor is a very resilient threat. It's very good. That's it, though. How are we winning the game outside of DD Survivor? We could include some Monarchs, but I don't want to do that because Monarchs are bad, and they brick. And they just contribute to your brick hands, right? Have I tiered Zombie World decks? I put that in Zombie X, but the only deck that should be maining Zombie World is either KFC or like light zombies, which I would also put in. I put both of those in tier 2, more or less. Okay, but yes, the issue is like you're a little bit low power level. You want to play Cyber Valley for consistency, right? Because it gives you outs to stuff with Brain Control, Mind Control. But at the same time, like Cyber Valley is eating into your deck space of like having like actual threats. Cyber Valley DD Survivor is like such an insane combo. Like it's so insane, but you just don't have the right threat density. It's like hard to fit threats into a deck like this because there's no like Gren Maju, right? This card sucks in this format because you need at least 7 cards banished for it to be like even remotely worth summoning. But there's no card that's just like, I summon this and it's a threat. Outside of like maybe Barbaros or something. And you're just playing like 1900 vanillas hoping they're good enough. It's just tough. It's tough to find that balance. And plus, on top of that, these decks, generally speaking, get fucked by Gladiator Beast. Like, Gladiator Beast just destroy these decks because they do not care about this card. And they do not care about this card. And then they also do not care about your weak-ass Banisher. They do not care about your Cyber Valleys. They will just test Tiger into Murmillo, pop your shit, and then tag out, pop your back row. Like, these decks get murdered by Gladiator Beast. So you have to, like, main some number of Doom Caliber Knights to, like, just make sure you aren't, like, auto-losing that matchup. And it's like, Doom Caliber Knight, it's a really good threat, but it's not very resilient. It kills itself. So, it's not very good. It's not very good. I think the deck is... It has potential, but someone needs to find the right list. And I don't think Monarchs is the way to go. For sure. Okay, what were we talking about? Spellcasters. Back to Spellcasters. Now I know where that is because I remember it was named Dark Magician. There we go. Okay, we got Dark Magician. This is my current Spellcaster list. What do I think about Infernity? I think it's tier 4 or below. Realistically. Oh, I'm typing tier 4 or below instead of typing Infernity. I think Infernity is just worse than Zombies in every sense. I think it's worse because it loses to DD Crow. It loses to every interaction. You can't hold cards in hand, so you're forcing yourself to play into Heavy Storm. You don't have a lot of the payoff spells. You're hoping that Necromancer Archfiend engine is good enough, but you have to top deck a conversion on those cards, or you have to have a conversion set. So the way I see Infernity is it's going to be like a set 5 deck that either plays very controlling, or it's going to be a deck that wins off of one big combo. The issue is you don't have a lot of the payoff. Like, you don't have an OTK setup. You don't have a consistent OTK setup. Necromancer Archfiend doesn't equate to anything more than 1800 damage. And then on top of that, like, the cards you're searching is just more Necromancer, more Archfiend. And you need to have another piece of that puzzle to convert. So it's just too much moving parts. And it gets fucked by DD Crow. Like, just royally fucked by DD Crow. Like, you'll go minus to empty your hand to try and activate Necromancer, and then your opponent just chains Crow on your Archfiend, and you lose the game immediately. With every deck siding multiple DD Crows, I don't think it's a viable strategy, unfortunately. Yes, you can play, like, ways to play around it, like, oh yeah, Morbius. Morbius. Sorry, guys, I forgot about that one as well. Dark Magic Curtain. So this deck, back to this deck. Yeah. Infernity, I don't think it's good enough. I legit don't think it's good enough. Also, it's like, I don't think it can compete in this meta. This deck list is not optimized. But this deck list is the right direction, I think, for spellcasters. I think Dark Magic Curtain into Virus is fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. And then you can also, like, Dark Magic Curtain, set Spy, and then set a Virus. And then on your opponent's turn, you Virus them. And then on your next turn, you flip Spy, you activate Solidarity, you attack for like 4,000 or more. It's insane. Like, that's insane. Especially if you, like, let's say you Erad name Traps. How are they going to get over this? If you deck dev, like, some decks just lose to deck dev, right? So, like, I think spellcasters, initially, they have a free win. They have a free win in that the viruses just win the game, more or less. The next thing that I like about spellcasters is you get access to Secret Village. So you're, like, automatically pretty resilient to stuff like Heavy Storm, which is dope. And then the next thing I like about spellcasters is that all of the monsters are really fucking good individually. Like, Gravekeeper Spy is good. It's not the best because the other 3 cards are inherently bricks. You don't want to draw multiples, but drawing the first one is obviously very good. Breaker is very good. It's free +1 on the summon. Kaiku in the meta is very good. It's just really, really good against zombies, really good against Blackwings, really good against everything, especially when you're pumping it up with Solidarity. It can get over more things and banish cards more consistently. And then Skill Dark Magician, you don't have to play this card. Like, you could play the deck without the Dark Magician stuff, but I like the speed that the Dark Magician adds, more or less. Dark Magic Curtain into a 3,300 Dark Magician is actually good. Is actually very good. And, like, if you think about it, like, what are you playing into with this, right? What are you playing into? Bottomless? Okay, Chain Virus. Are they really going to bottomless your Dark Magician? Like, Chain Virus. Pop their whole shit. Chain Book of Moon. Protect your Dark Magician. You know what I mean? You have a lot of ways to Like, make sure that this play is actually really solid. People undervalue attack points, I think, in this format a lot, but I think attack points matter a lot. Like, Solidarity Dark Magician gets over everything in the entire format. It's something to consider. It attacks over everything in the entire format without, like, obviously other buffs or whatnot. So, like, that's very good, especially when you're locking your opponent's spell cards out with, like, with Secret Village, or you're, like, locking out entire portions of their deck with the viruses. I think this has a lot of potential. I'm definitely going to put Spellcasters as a tentative tier 2. Now, this is one way to play Spellcasters. This is one way to play them. All right, this is a gross version. This is like a super disgusting, hoping to cheese version with the viruses. There's another way to play Spellcasters, which I haven't revisited in a while, but I think is worth considering. And that is the Little Wizard. The Little Wizard variations. This list is bad. This list is very bad. I need to fix this list up. Someone mentioned that, what did they mention? There was a combo with Magical Exemplar that I don't have in my list, and I'm forgetting it. It was Foolish Exemplar was one of them. There was a combo with Magical Exemplar that I wanted to include in the list, but I'm forgetting it. But basically, I think Little Wizard decks are very good because Magical Exemplar is very good. This card is just, it turns all your spell cards into a +1. I cast an Upstart Goblin, and then I get back a free Apprentice Magician. I cast a Shrink, I get back a free Night End Sorcerer, I get a double DD Crow on top of that. So all of my spell cards become +1 once this card is in play. This is a very good deck, I think. This is not a good list. This is not a good list, but it is a very good deck. What was the combo? I wonder if I have it in my Fortune Ladies list. Because I remember I was playing Exemplar in the Fortune Lady list. What was the combo? Oh, was it Dimension Gate? No, that's not it. What was it? I don't remember. What is it? 1-for-1 maybe? I don't remember. Yeah, you could play Copycat. You could play Copycat in the Little Wizard deck. You could play a lot of stuff in the Little Wizard deck. The cool thing about the Little Wizard deck is it's kind of just like, do what you want to do. You know what I mean? Like, just do whatever you want to do. So you can play Kaiku, you can play, Copycat, you can play Time Wizard, you can have a lot of fun with the Time Wizard stuff. Obviously, Time Wizard is very bad, but it's a light. You could play Chaos Sorcerer. You could revive Chaos Sorcerer with a 6-counter Magical Exemplar. There's a lot you can do with a deck like this. And I think that this is not very explored right now. It could definitely be pushed a lot further than it is, for sure. Because some of these cards just have, like, really good effects. Like Night End Sorcerer, like, double DD Crow built into your engine. That's crazy. That's really good. Vindictive Magician is a tutorable Maneater Bug. That's pretty good. Crystal Seer helps you boost consistency. Is this card good? Probably not, but it's in this list because you can get it off Apprentice Magician. I think Apprentice Magician Toolbox, that's pretty good. It's not bad. You can do some stuff with this. I'm not sure exactly what the list is going to end up looking like, but if you guys are brewers and you want to, like, try to explore a deck, I think the Spellcasters right now is, like, one of the decks that's not explored enough. For sure. All right, what else are we forgetting on the tier list, everybody? Everybody who's in chat right now, what else are we forgetting? What else are we missing here? Did I cover Monster Mash already? I think I did. No, I didn't. I'm going to put Mash. Oh, I did. I put it in tier 3. Monster Mash is in tier 3 because it's weak to Oppression. It's a good deck. You can fill the deck with, like, nothing but hits. Like, the whole deck can be nothing but hits. However, I think the issue is... What is the issue? Oh, man. Yeah, like, this type of deck, like, you could take out, like, the jank shit, and you can make the deck nothing but hits. The issue becomes, how do you consistently deal with Royal Oppression? Are you going to be forced into setting Raikou every time your opponent has back row? Like, how do you play into back row with these decks? You have to draw your Heavy Storm, you have to draw your Cold Wave, and then on top of that, are you going to play Magical Merchant, which is slow and inconsistent, and sometimes even a total blank? It doesn't contribute to a game plan unless you include more bricks. So it's like, do you play bricky Magical Merchant versions, or do you play versions that play better into Oppression and whatnot? It's hard to find a balance. It's hard to find a balance because playing into Oppression is nearly impossible with Monster Mash, and I think that's why it's in tier 3. It's just like, you inherently don't have back row. You inherently don't have ways to deal with a threat under oppression. You just kind of lose to it. So yeah, it's a little awkward. Dark Creator X, Uriah, Garlandolph, Dark Gaia. Okay. Garlandolph. I'll put Garlandolph in tier 3. Because naturally, you're going to have to play Advanced Ritual Art. Which means, naturally, you're going to have bricks. And that's more bricks than your average tier 2 deck. Significantly more bricks. But I do think Garlandolph is a good deck. I think it's better than all the tier 4 and below decks. Spaceships, tier 4. Spaceship Fan, tier 4. Sorry to hear it. Dark Creator X. I have one Dark Creator X deck in my deck, which is like, or in my deck builder, which is, well, actually I have two. If we're counting like Norlaris Dragons. I would say Norlaris Dragons falls under Dragon X because it's more a dragon deck than a Dark Creator deck. But like a dedicated Dark Creator deck. I've got one of those. Here it is. Dedicated Dark Creator deck. This is my Turbo Dark Creator deck. The way this deck works is you summon a Mystic Tomato, either off of Lone Fire or you just naturally draw it or you search it off Sangan. You crash it 3 times, you grab Armageddon Knight, you send any monster from your deck, and then you crash the Armageddon Knight and then you have a live Dark Creator. So it's kind of like fairies in a sense that you can crash summon Christia, but instead of summoning Christia, you're summoning the Dark Creator, which is worse than Christia, obviously, because Christia is insane. It prevents your opponent from coming back, whereas Dark Creator doesn't really do that. But this is a cool deck. And I think this deck is good. I think this is something that people could consider doing more of a Mystic Tomato, Dark Creator, Welly-Dad deck. Kazara says, not sure if the Welly-Dad tiering is serious or not, but it seems unrealistic to put it at tier 1 with no results. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go into that. That's a Dark Creator deck, by the way. Let's talk about this a little bit. Okay, let's look at this deck. Let's not look at Telekinetic Powerwell for a second, and let's not look at Krebins. Okay, let's not look at it. Let's take these 5 cards out of the deck. What do we have? We have Silch's Ruin, 2nd place Diva Zombie deck. It's the same deck, but instead of playing Diva, you're playing a Diva that doesn't need a normal summon, and could potentially even have 3 summons, and is also better when you draw it, and also plays naturally into your engine with Armageddon Knight and Greffer. No, this deck is insane. This deck is literally the Diva Zombie deck, but better. It has no bricks, because you can convert all of these off of your Greffer, and these are actually quality normal summons. Like, these are actually good cards to summon. Whereas Deep Sea Diva, drawing 2 Divas, get that shit out of my face. That's fucking awful. But drawing 2 Krebins, it's like, sure, I'll just summon my Krebins. You know what I mean? What are they going to do? Krebins demands a response. It demands a resource on its own. And then once they out it, like let's say you have 2 Deep Sea Divas in your hand. That sucks, right? Krebins, I attack into my opponent's Raikou, right? They pop my Krebins. Now my Telekinetic Powerwell is live. You know what I mean? They kill the Krebins, and then I have the late game play set up. It forces resources. Krebins forces resources in the early game, unlike Deep Sea Diva. No, this is a tier 1 deck. And it's not even close. I think that the next best deck from the drop off of the top 3 is significantly worse than the top 3. It's like measurably worse than the top 3. I think these top 3 are significantly better than everything below it. The only decks that really kind of come close is like Light Swarm when you have a good draw, but the issue is you can't control that. Quick Draw when your opponent has a bad draw, but the top 3 decks rarely have bad draws. And I also think Blackwing and Well-Dead Zombie do really well into Quick Draw. I think they do really well into Quick Draw. Fairy and Quick Draw is like more 50-50. It's a little bit Quick Draw favorite, I'd say, even. But Fairy into everything else is just like overwhelmingly good. It's just like, you feel like you can't lose. Like, so I think these top 3 decks, they just have good matchups against everything else, and the decks are just insane. So like, yes, okay, this deck has no results, open quote. Sure, a deck with Telekinetic Powerwell hasn't had results. Okay, but this same exact deck, more or less, has had results in previous iterations. Whereas like Silch's Ruin has been topping with similar decks like this for the last fucking year and a half. You know what I mean? Like and the only difference is like we've added a more streamlined engine into the deck to make it more consistent, to give it like, yeah, and Krebins does have better art. It does have better art. That's it. Ratioed. Absolutely ratioed. Totally true. Yeah. So yes. If you're thinking about it in terms of like this is a completely new deck, it has no results. Okay, but in general, it is pretty much the same deck we've been seeing, just slightly different, and that's why I have it as like a Zombie X deck. But I think it's the best version of the Zombie X deck personally. That's just my personal take on it too. I don't fully know. Yeah, fairies haven't topped in a while. I'm curious about that. I know Murray did pretty well with it at Deck Devastators. I think he got like 16th with fairy. So it's just low representation, and the deck's a headache to play. I think at the end of the day, like even I didn't want to play it in Deck Devastators because I had been up all night and I've been playing it all night, and I was like, Bim Bom Ben says I tested the deck without well and it did well, so with well it's gonna be good. Yeah, more or less, And like if you get into a matchup where your opponent's like bringing in like stuff to hit out your wells and whatnot, you can just side out the wells, and you have a really good deck. Like you have a Dark Armed Stun deck, which is a really good deck to begin with. Like you can just bring in Doom Calibers, Cyber Dragons, Kaiku, whatever, and then you just have a high value deck with like a Dark Armed teleport late game, which is really good. That's just a really good deck. It should be favorable against everything. There's a reason Teledad was like a more or less one deck format, and this is essentially just Teledad. Time on the Run says you get punished for the smallest instance of missequencing with the fairy deck, and that's the problem with fairy. Yeah, I think so. I think that is the biggest problem with fairy, is that, again, if we're looking at the tier list, we've got this asterisk. We are assuming everyone is good when talking about this tier list. If everyone is not good, fairy becomes a much worse deck. It becomes a much worse deck if everyone is not good. Because if you're like hoping to just get rewarded or carried by a certain card, it's not really going to happen in fairy that frequently. It's not going to happen that frequently. That being said, the deck's insane and it can beat just about everything and has favorable matchup against just about everything, but it's not very new player friendly. It's not. Let me see if I can pull up my most recent list. We can talk about it a little bit. Like, if you look at this deck, like, what's hard carrying you? Christia? Okay. Gores, maybe? Maybe Return? You have 3 win buttons. It's an okay amount. Assuming a less experienced crowd, what is the best deck in the format? Well, I think it's proven that Blackwing is good when people suck. It's also proven that Frog is good when people suck. I think those are the two decks that do well when people suck. So if you want to beat up on your newbie-ass friends, and they're never going to get better, and you can tell they're never going to get better, yeah, just bring like Frog or Blackwings. I mean, Blackwing just beats up on decks in general. I think Blackwing X is just like, the cards are power crept compared to the rest of the format. Time on the Round says 1 Christia is nuts. Nah, 1 Christia is the right number. I've been testing this deck a lot, and the games you lose is when you draw double Christia. That's like the only games you lose. If you don't see Christia, you still win, and if you do draw Christia, it's an I win button. If you draw multiple Christia, you lose. So the zero risk is just play 1 Christia. That way you have a win button, and you don't brick. Easy. Did I show fairies already? This is my current fairy list. This is the list I tested for Deck Devastators. I'm not sold on the main deck Dust Tornado. It could definitely become a Book of Moon in the future. I'm a big fan of Book of Moon in this deck. I normally play 3. Going down to 1 is a little bit crazy. Time on the Round says, are you not too scared to draw it too late to the point where the grave is too stacked to manipulate? All right, so what can we do to manipulate the graveyard? We've got Soul of Purity and Light. We've got Freed. So that's 2 different ways to banish multiple lights from our graveyard. So you're saying we've gone to 7+ fairies in graveyard. If we've gone to 7+ fairies in graveyard, okay. Yeah. All right, it bricks then. 7+ fairies in graveyard, and I don't have Soul of Purity and Light and Freed? Okay. Or Call. All right. Yeah. Maybe. Literally, yeah, just pitch it to Herald, call it back. Exactly, Bim Bom Ben. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Plus, you can always put together turns where it's like, you can just tribute summon the Christia. The first one's never bad. The second one is when it gets bad. The second one's when it breaks. You do want the second one to bring in some matchups, but Yeah, it's the first one's never bad. The deck's really good. Do I like Gel and Duo? No. I think that card is very bad. I think cards like Gel and Duo are like Omega Lol, Bora the Spear, attack. Urukizis, attack. Clear your thing. Like, best case scenario, what is Gel and Duo doing? What is Gel and Duo doing best case scenario that none of these other cards are doing? Am I double sacking it for my one Christia? Is that the best case scenario? I would rather just have a Shining Angel in play, where I can crash that and set up for the special summon of the Christia. I would rather just have a Dialk in play, so I can float into a high value monster. Like, when would I rather have a Gel and Duo in play than any one of the cards in this deck? I would rather have any one of these cards in this deck in play than Gel and Duo. Angel 7. So here's the issue with Angel 7. This says neither player can activate monster effects. Every deck in this format plays 12 fucking trap cards. And every deck in this format plays like brain control. Like, every deck in this format has like 15 outs to this. You're working so hard to summon this card, and you're just going to get bottomless, and you're just going to rage. It's not good. Marshmallow. Again, when would I rather have Marshmallow in play than any one of these other cards? Why would I have that? Why would I rather have that in play? The only time I'd rather have it in play is when my opponent is at 1,000 or less life points. That's such a narrow card. I'd rather just have a better card. Again, these are the kinds of conversations that a lot of people, like, they want to add tech cards, they want to do stuff. You really got to think. You really got to think. I think Angel 7 does work against mandatory effects, Gowron. I think it does. I think it stops all effects from being activated. It's like a floodgate, kind of. Invisil. Okay, let's talk Invisil. This card cannot be special summoned, so I have to tribute summon a real card to summon this card. Already I have to tribute summon a real card to summon this card. Next up, if I tribute a Light Fairy, negate the effect of all spell cards. If I tribute a Dark Fiend, negate the effect of all trap cards. I don't want to shut off my own trap cards. I don't want to shut off my own spell cards. And I don't want to tribute any of these monsters. And half of these monsters aren't even Light Fairies. So it's a 2200 vanilla that isn't light, that I can't back up with Honest. That just doesn't really do anything. That's the issue. Is like, I'm sacrificing a card to play this. I am spending a real card to potentially floodgate out my opponent's spell cards and then just get Raikou popped. Why? Why am I doing that? There's all these cards. Like, when I add a card to the deck, when I add a card to this deck, you really have to add it with intention. And in general, when you're adding cards to decks, you have to add it with intention. I added one Cyber Valley to this deck. Why did I do that? I added one Cyber Valley because it improves the deck. It gives me access to mind control, improves my brain control as well. This improves my matchup against Hamster, which is a card the deck was struggling with. It improves my matchup against Dupe Frog, which is a card this deck was struggling with. It is a Shining Angel target. It improves my return from the different dimension. It adds something to the deck. What am I bringing to the deck? Cyber Valley, mind control, they bring a lot to the deck. That's why they're here. Thunder King Ryo. What am I bringing to this deck? This deck can struggle with, Dark Arm Dragon. This deck can struggle with Judgment Dragon, that kind of thing. I'm adding an additional layer of interaction with those cards. This also helps against zombies. This helps against Goblin Zombie, which is an annoying card that sometimes I don't always want to go minus tempo with DD Warrior Lady to out. So I think where it is right now, also this deck struggles with Bryonic. So just having extra outs to Bryonic, that's why we've added Thunder King Ryo to the deck. Why are you citing a second Christia if playing 2 breaks you anyway? So against some decks, you bring in the second and you board out Royal Oppression when Royal Oppression is completely dead. And those decks are also boarding in deck dev against you. So you're boarding out a card that's completely dead for a card that's not completely dead that has upside. So you board in Christia against like Value and shit. And you board out Royal Oppression, more or less. That's when you bring it in. And you can also board it in against decks where the brick doesn't matter that much. So against Quick Draw, you're not going to be under a ton of pressure. It's a slow matchup. It's a slow, very grindy matchup. In those matchups, breaking on a second Christia early doesn't kill you, straight up. So you have it there for the modal thing. I'm not even sure I'm bringing it in against Blackwings because they have their own oppression. But against Vayu, I do sometimes bring in the second Christia. That's why. Yeah, there's a reason for all of these cards. The only cards that I was thinking about cutting are the Kaiku and the DD Crow for 2 Banisher in the side. Galrin says, I truly can't figure out the magical exemplar combo. Okay, we'll go check that out. We'll go check that out real quick. So the way this card works is if you activate a spell card, you get 2 spell counters. And then you get a special summon. You can special summon a spellcaster from your graveyard by removing spell counters equal to the level. So if you have Foolish Burial, that's already a setup. You have Foolish Burial. You send a monster from your deck to the graveyard. You get 2 spell counters. Let's say we send Knight and Sorcerer. Then we can remove those 2 counters. Special summon the Knight and Sorcerer. All right, that's the obvious one. The not so obvious ones are like I'm floating Apprentice Magician into, like Crystal Seer or whatnot. I get an Apprentice Magician in the grave. Magical Exemplar at this point in time, every time I activate a spell card with Magical Exemplar in play, I get to bring back Apprentice Magician. I get a free +1. So let's say I have an Apprentice Magician in my graveyard. I summon Magical Exemplar. I activate any one of these cards. Let's say I summon this. They activate Bottomless. I change Shrink. So my Shrink goes 1-for-1 with their Bottomless. I get 2 spell counters. I bring back Apprentice Magician. Now I'm +1. And that's even more of an advantage gain if my first Apprentice Magician successfully floated into a Crystal Seer and I got a +1 off of that. So you can get like a really large number of advantage. That's the worst way to say this. You can, how do I fucking say this shit? You can accrue advantage, basically. It's an advantage engine. And then what you do with the advantage engine is like you sack the free monster for Caius, or you float that into Crystal Seer and then you draw into your creature swap, or you float into Knight and Sorcerer and then you make a Synchro or whatever. Ninja Deer says needs Lila. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. I don't know why, but maybe. If anything, I'd probably try out more Kaikus first. But this type of deck, it's underexplored. But the idea is you're basically building an advantage engine. Optimus Prime says, my fairy build plays 3 Christia, 2 Valhalla, and 1 Hecatrice. Dropping Christia for free over and over is hard to beat. I have a Valhalla list, but it's not as singularly oriented. This is my current Valhalla list. I don't know if this list is accurate. But this is the list that I have currently. I think there is something to what you're saying. I think there is something to Valhalla into Christia. I just don't know about it. Because you risk those polarizing draws where you have Valhalla and you need a real card, or you have double Christia and you need a Valhalla and you don't have it. So you're basically building a combo deck. But if you're building a combo deck, it's best to max out on your combo pieces. The issue is that the further combo pieces don't really do anything. If that makes sense. Like if I draw Valhalla Christia, the first one is great. If I draw 2 Valhalla Christia, the second Valhalla is a totally dead card. You see what I'm saying? You get where I'm going with this? And then on top of that, if I draw double Christia, no Valhalla, my hand does nothing. Or if I draw double Valhalla, no Christia, my hand does nothing. Do we not play Guardian of Order? Isn't that card a warrior? Yeah, card's a warrior. So we don't play it. And also, when do we want to play this card? When do we want to play Guardian of Order? I have a variation of this. That does play Guardian of Order. And there's a good reason to play it. In this deck, well, first off, it's not a fairy. Second off, if we have 2 monsters in play, one of them is going to be Christia. Let's be real. So we can't summon it anyway. Third off, we need a density of fairies for Tethius and for Valhalla and for our heralds. So there's 3 reasons to need a density. And then fourth reason, I've lost it. But I have a deck that does play Guardian of Order. We'll check that out. And then Evan English brings up a good one. Tomato Power Tool Dragon. We will look at that as well. We will look at Tomato Power Tool because I think there is stuff there too. Corvo says this card is cracked in Zexal when you can play rank 8s. Yeah. I think this card is good in Edison. I think it is good in Edison. I think a 2500 free summon should not be slept on. I have a deck. Is this it? Is this the deck? Yes, this is the deck. I did a video on this. It's like crazy OTK deck. And this deck does OTK and go crazy. But the point of this deck is to spam the board. The point of this deck is to spam the board. You're trying to swarm. You're trying to go Creator into Light Monster, into Special Guardian Order, into Special something back with DDR, into 8,000. Yes, this is crazy OTK featuring DDR. The way we're trying to summon Christia in this deck is either off of the Creator or off of DDR Different Dimension Reincarnation. So we're summoning this at the end of our combo. In the Valhalla decks, the awkward part is Valhalla is the start of the combo. So I can't summon Christia and then proceed to summon other cards. I think the latest iteration of the Valhalla deck, the reason why I've added Mausoleum is because it allows me to convert big monsters after I already have a Christia in play. Like, once I have Christia in play, Parshath, Tethius, Omegalol, like, I can't summon them. Because they're... First off, I have a monster in play, so I can't Valhalla. Second off, the monster's Christia, so I can't special summon them. But, if I have Mausoleum, I can special summon out Christia, maybe Beta Bottomless or something, and then normal summon out a Tethius or an Air Knight Parshath afterwards. So it gives you 2 plays in the same turn. That's why I like Mausoleum in this deck. Is you have Valhalla for the first part of your combo, and then the second part of your combo, your follow-up play, you can do off of Mausoleum, which I think is very slept on. I think that's an interaction that I think should be explored a little bit more. Like Valhalla Mausoleum definitely should be explored a little bit more. But back to the Creator deck. The Creator deck, you're not Valhallaing out Christia at the beginning of your combo. You're specialing Christia at the end of your combo. So you can play Guardian of Order because you can summon it before you've finished your setup, more or less. Which is the idea. Where was that deck? Where was that deck? Creator 2. I really like this deck. I think this is one of the decks I'm the most proud of that I've ever built because I think it's tight. Do I think it's good? I don't know. I think it might struggle with oppression the same way Monster Mash does, but at least you have, a more consistent Lila and a more consistent draw engine to find them, to pop oppression. And then on top of that, you have you have ways to play through oppression in Freed, Honest. Like, you have ways to defend yourself against Royal Oppression, whereas the Monster Mash decks kind of don't. This is definitely one of my more favorite decks that I have built. Okay. What was the question? Tomato Power Tool. Where am I slotting all these decks, by the way? Where am I slotting all these first? Let's go ahead and put Valhalla Fairy in tier 4. Let's go ahead and put Valhalla Fairy in tier 4. Because I think, as of right now, the bricks outweigh the payoffs. Or at least they are even with the payoffs. At the very least. Oh, I wrote tier 4. I keep doing this. Valhalla Fairy. I think someone could find a list of Valhalla Fairy that brings it up to tier 3. I think someone could do it. Am I certain of it? Maybe. I don't know. What's up, Jose? How's it going? I'm ranking some jank decks. Yeah, kind of. I mean, a lot of these decks are, if you think about it too, like I'm sure the KFC deck started out as a jank deck, right? I'm sure the Spellcasters deck, the Relinquish decks, the Burn decks, they started out as a jank deck, but then they develop into something more. Do you think there's a deck where you can side Malevolent Catastrophe? No. Do I play Prohibition? I do in Aliens. I play that card in Aliens, but nowhere else. What is Spellcasters? We just went over this, but V, for your sake, I'll go ahead and hop over to the lists. There are 2 lists. There's one that I think is like a cheese list with viruses, which is this list here. The power of this list is Dark Magic Curtain into Dark Magician, and then Set Spy and Set a Virus. That's the power of this list. Solidarity and Secret Village are also very powerful cards. And then the other list that I think is underexplored for Spellcasters is the Little Wizard deck, which I've covered on the channel before. This list is not optimal, but basically the power is using Apprentice Magician and Magical Exemplar as an advantage engine to recur Crystal Seers and this sort of stuff, and get natural +1s and make things awkward. Clear World is not a deck that I've explored at all. What were we talking about now? There was one Knight of the Red Lotus Faustian Bargain deck, John L. I showed a Knight of the Red Lotus at the beginning. Knight of the Red Lotus deck at the beginning of the stream. I'll go ahead and show that again now for you guys. I think this is a very good deck. I think this deck has potential. Needs to be explored a little bit more. I think I'm going to cut the Hero Blast from this deck and add a third compulsory. The way this deck works is you try to Knight of the Red Lotus, bring back a 1900, hit for 4k, bounce their normal summon, hit for 4k again. That's the plan. And then you just use your other cards to break through the back row. Like Evocator and Gemini Spark and like Stratos and stuff and Raikou, they just break through the back row. And then you try to get 2 4k hits in. Okay, that's the point of this Knight of the Red Lotus deck. But I think Knight of the Red Lotus is a very underrated card. Very, very underrated card. This is more of a hyper-aggressive beatdown deck because of the nature of it. I'm going to go ahead and make that change right now. If you guys want to screenshot this list or whatever. Yeah, I think triple compulse is correct for this deck list too. All right, Power Tool. Gigabyte, super underrated. Where were we going with Power Tool? That was the next thing I wanted to rank, is Gigabyte. I have a Gigabyte list. And this is a little bit of spoilers, because the next episode of Meta Breakers, we play this deck in the next episode of Meta Breakers. So this is a little bit of spoilers. I'm giving you guys... How many people are in here right now? Do you guys want to see some exclusive stuff? Or do you think I should hold off? Or do you guys want to see an exclusive list on Gigabyte? Do you want to see an exclusive Gigabyte list from Meta Breakers? Do you guys want to see it? I need to know. I need some feedback from you guys. Do you guys want to see some brand new tech? This list of Gigabytes that I'm going to show you, maybe, is inspired by a deck in Magic the Gathering. I don't know if you guys know this deck. It's called Splinter Twin. The deck is called Splinter Twin. This card got banned in Magic the Gathering. This Gigabyte deck was inspired by Splinter Twin Deceiver Exarch. Okay. Seems like you guys want to see it. Seems like you guys want to see this deck. All right, we'll show it off. A little bit. The list is a little bit messy. I gotta change one or two things. Cut Mirror Force, cut UFO Turtle. There we go. Yeah. This is the list. Behold. This is the GigaChad Gigabyte list. So, let's talk about the issues. With Gigabyte. Let's talk about the issues. What is issue number one? We've been talking about the whole tier list. The number of bricks is the issue. The brick density in 40 card Gigabyte deck lists is too high. You have your Gigaplant, you have your Titanial, you have triple supervised, triple Mark of the Rose, all of these cards could brick. The brick density is too high. Then again, what is the other issue? That's it. That's the only issue, is that the brick density is too high. The deck is crazy powerful. Normally. It's crazy powerful. The other brick density, or not the other brick density, the other issue I think is that you don't have mid-ground plays. You don't have something you can do in the meantime. You're either comboing or you're doing nothing in the average Gigabyte deck. So what does this deck do? What does this deck bring to the table? You've got Machina Gear Frame. You've got Machina Fortress. These can help you play through back row. You've got Dekoichi. This can help you set up, smooth out your draws. You can have a mid-ground play of Black Salvo into Dekoichi. Go for a value power tool, or go for a Black Rose Nuke to try and set up for your OTK combos. You have UFO Turtle, which is a machine you can pitch to Machina Fortress. So even if you're drawing dead UFO Turtles after you've already comboed, you can still pitch them and convert them. So this card is not just a combo card anymore. It also helps you make your mid-ground play. And then on top of that, you get to play triple Cyber Valley, triple Machine Dupe. You get to play 1-for-1 Dandy to go into Cyber Valley with the Machine Dupe, which is start with 9 cards. And then the Cyber Valley also combos really well with Mark of the Rose. And it also combos really well with Mind Control, Brain Control. So you get to play really powerful draw engine, really powerful stuff. And then on top of that, you're minimizing bricks and adding more mid-ground plays to the deck. More or less. Jason K says, I feel like you want your second engine to give supervised targets. So that's the thing. Supervise is just Splinter Twin in this deck. It's a total brick. And there's no way to avoid it. Unfortunately. And I've tried it a million different ways. Supervise is always going to be the Splinter Twin brick. How do we minimize that? Play more cards so you don't draw it as much. That's literally it. Play more cards, but at the same time, when we want to draw it, when we want to see Supervise, we're going to see it. The reason we're going to see it is because we have Salvo into Dekoichi into Power Tool. So we're going to consistently see supervise, but we're only going to see it when we want to see it. Optimus Prime says Hidden Armory. Fuck Hidden Armory. That card sucks. I hate that card. I want my normal summon. I always want my normal summon. Never take away my normal summon, please. I never want to be in a position where I have to Hidden Armory and give up my normal summon in this deck. That's exactly where I don't want to be. In this deck, you have the least percentage chance of drawing Copy Plant, Giga Plant, Titanial. You have the least percentage chance of breaking on multiple supervise, while having the highest percentage chance of comboing off. That's why I like this list. That's my theory behind this list. I think it's very good. I think it's very good. And in the video, you'll see it. In the video, you'll see it. The deck goes the fuck off. It's actually fucking crazy. And then on top of that, you just have like these really solid like mid-ground turn 1 plays. Cyber Valley Machine Dupe, start with 7 cards. Peacekeeper Machine Dupe, start with 7 cards. You have Machina Gear Frame, Search for Fortress, start with 7 cards. You have Phoenix Wing Windblast to deal with Oppression. You have 5 main deck outs to Oppression, including like, you know, the other outs, which is like technically Brain Control, Mark of the Rose, which take their big threat under Oppression and beat them with their own monster. So this deck doesn't lose to Oppression that hard at all, compared to like other versions of Gigavice where like you're forced to play all this other shit. Always Kind of Sleepy says 2 Gigaplants, the Alloy Fusion Mass Driver is an FTK though. Yeah, that's a 7 card combo. That is a 7 card combo because you need 2 Gigaplants, you need minimum Dragon's Mirror 2 Gemini to summon the Ally Fusion, and then you need Mass Driver. It's not an FTK that you could do on the first turn, I don't think, because you can't get to 7 cards consistently on the first turn. Like, you'd have to stack your deck. Like, there's no way. There's just no way to FTK with that. It just doesn't happen. You'd have to have, like... It would be too hard. You would have to have, like... I'm trying to think of 5 cards it would be. It would have to be Future Fusion, Dragon's Mirror, DDR, so that's 4 cards because you have to discard the DDR. And then you'd have to have, like, another Foolish Burial and Mass Driver. It'd have to be those 6 specific cards. You know, that just is a meme. There are lots of 6-card FTKs I could put together, but that would be better than that one too, if I'm being real. One of the FTKs actually that, or not FTKs, but OTK combos I've been thinking about a lot lately is Junk Synchron. There's a Junk Synchron OTK. I'll cover that in a second too. This version of the deck, I think is tier 2. I think it's tier 2. But if you play a different version of this deck, I think it's like tier 4 or lower. But I think this specific list is tier 2. If you were to play this list of Gigavice, I think it's tier 2. And in this sideboard, like, dude, let me tell you, there are so many 6 setups with this deck. You have Ancient Fairy Special Out Thunder King. That's like one of my favorite plays in this entire format. Because it's just 2 monsters. One of them negates a big monster. How do you beat it? It's really good. It's really good. And then you have Autonomous Action Unit. Great sideboard card. Steal your opponent's best card. Super sick sideboard card. You've got Royal Decrees. You get to play Royal Decree. So good against Black Wings. You can play Cyber Dragon. You can... I don't know. This deck is just really good. I really like this deck. This is a deck that I would want to play. John LS, is Exodia viable at all? I think Exodia is like tier 4. And Exodia, stall. I'm going to put stall Exodia. It's tier 4. What's up, Ramiro? How's it going? And again, we're coming back to the same theme. Why is it tier 4? Because every piece of Exodia is a brick. So you're playing a deck with 5 bricks, and you need to find all 5 to win. But if you find any of the 5 and not all of the 5, you have a dead hand. So it's, again, you have bricks. You have dead cards in your deck. You have cards that do nothing. The best decks, the tier 1 decks, have the highest activity. They have no bricks. Or they have like 1 brick. The next best decks, they have like 2 to 3 bricks. The next best decks, they have like 5, 6 bricks. The next best decks, they have like half bricks. That's how it goes. That's just how it goes. I mean, if I have 6 live cards and you have 4 live cards, I'm going to beat you more time. That's just how it works. Corvo says Quick Draw Exodia. Honestly seems pretty broken. I am working on Quick Draw Empty Jar right now. That is the deck I'm working on, which I think is pretty good. But Quick Draw Exodia, I think, is just a worse version of Quick Draw Empty Jar because instead of having to find 5 pieces, you just need to find Morphing Jar and then you win. So that's that. Pretty much. Okay, how's the tier list looking to you guys? Are we back? Are we back? Are we back, ladies and gentlemen? Are we back? What's going on? What's going on? Are we back? Are we back? Am I back on? You can see? You can see? Okay, okay. Let me make sure my OBS is working accurately. We are back. Are we back? Oh my goodness, thank goodness. That was scary. That was a little bit scary. Okay. All right, CPU at 19%. Okay. For some reason, it's showing the wrong window. We're gonna try to get chat back up on screen real quick here. But welcome back. Okay, we're back. That was close. That was a close one, everybody. That was a close one, but we made it. Okay, back on Dueling Book, and then just need to get the chat popped out. Pop out chat. Boom. Oh my goodness. What's up, Brandon? What's up, Zuquap Studios? Bekwa, Dylan, Lava, welcome back. Tell your friends. We're back up. Whoa, that was messy. So we did the tier list. We got to do new channel stuff here in a second. I think we pretty much covered the tier list. Was Gadget on the tier list? Gadget's tier 4. If it wasn't on the tier list, it's tier 4. Oh shoot, I gotta go over to this stuff. And then, do we have the chat open? Is the chat? Okay, yeah, it is. It is open on stream. Okay, cool, perfect. Yeah, so whatever was the tier list, Gadget is tier 4. The reason is gadgets are all bricks. And I can't be convinced otherwise. They're all bricks. So again, it just comes down to how many dead cards are in your deck. How many dead cards are in your deck? That's how good your deck is. 99% of the time. If you have a deck where all of your cards are good, most of the time, you have a better deck. It's a stupid way to sum things up, but in Edison format, that's really what it comes down to. There's no, like... It's not like in modern Yu-Gi-Oh, right? And I'm going to use this as a little bit of time to transition. We're going to transition into Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh! Week 5. We're going to talk about Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh! This is the Wave Motion this week. Why is my computer fan like freaking out? Am I doing something wrong? What have we got? Wave Motion Week 5. Are we going to talk about Wave Motion Week 5 right now? Or are we going to talk about RBET more? What do you guys want to talk about right now? You guys want to talk about Wave Motion? Do you guys want to talk about more Edison stuff? What do you guys want to talk about? This is mostly me engaging with you guys. Do you guys want to talk about the new channel right now? We talk about the new channel. I tell you a little bit about what I got planned for that. I got some good stuff planned for the new channel. I got some new stuff planned. Some really good stuff planned. We can mix it up with Wave Motion. Okay, let's do a quick Wave Motion thing, and then we'll pop back to Edison, and then we'll try and relate it all. How about all the fire anime that's gonna drop? Dude, Chainsaw? Whatever, Chainsaw, is it Chainsaw Man? That looks sick. Speaking of fire anime, that looks sick. I'm not a weeb. Well, that looks sick. I think I just exposed one of my email addresses on here. Oh well, whatever. Okay, what have we got? Okay, Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh! This week. A little bit of spoilers. It's Ignition Assault. So for those of you who don't know, Ignition Assault is not a set I'm very familiar with. The most prominent card in Ignition Assault is a card called Lightning Storm. And there's a deck in Ignition Assault called Ignister, which is the main deck. They play these really stupid looking cards, which I will never play or read in my entire life. I cannot be fucked to look at this and be excited. So what is Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh? Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh is a limited format Yu-Gi-Oh format. It's a limited format of Yu-Gi-Oh. Basically, we get a random set, and then we get 3 copies of every card in that set. Then we get the surrounding sets. We get the surrounding sets from that time, and we get 2 from the immediately surrounding structure decks. Immediately surrounding sets. Immediately surrounding sets. We get 2 sets. Absolutely 2 secs. No, okay, and then we get one of the fucking further out sets basically. So it's like block constructed, but for Yu-Gi-Oh, more or less, where we only get cards released in a certain window of time. Yes, 2 secs exactly. The suck Vivo exactly 2 secs exactly 2 secs. And so this week's set is Ignition Assault. I'm gonna show you guys some of the past weeks that we've had in Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh. The way it works. So yes, it's like a sealed. It's like a sealed. So we don't draft it. RJ, the creator of the format. We got to talk about RJ because it's on his channel. This week is episode 5. Episode 4 just came out today. I'm gonna pull it up for you guys. So you guys can see it, and I'm gonna show you the deck that I played in episode 4, so you guys can see why this is so fucking cool. This is such a unique way to approach Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm really happy about it. Okay, perfect. Here it is. The RJB0. You guys, you can see the episode. Oops, I got a little bit. It's basically a sealed format of Yu-Gi-Oh, more or less. And as of right now, I've been in every episode so far, and all the guests are incredible. They're really good. They're really fun. It's a fun thing. So this week that just dropped today, this video that just dropped today was Duelist Revolution, which is one of the coolest sets of all time, right? It's one of the coolest sets of all time. And it really is a shame because Duelist Revolution exists at the same time as like some of the worst formats of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my opinion. I can't speak straight right now. I'm still like tilted about the stream crash, but hey, we're pulling it back. This is the deck I played in the episode that went up today. Look how fucking sick this deck is. First off, it's a scrap chaos deck. That has a tech Gen X Neutron to find your tech Ally of Justice Cycle reader for your Crush Card Virus. Because we had one copy of every card in Duelist Pack Kaiba for this week's episode. So for this week's episode, my deck is this. It's Chaos Scraps. It is one of the coolest decks I've ever built. And this format, it really lets me build like the coolest decks ever. Like this is such a sick deck. And you would never get to play a deck like this. A deck where you're like creatively trying to slot in Chaos Emperor Dragon Envoy of the End into your deck. A deck where you have 9 draw spells to try and find your Pot of Greed. Or your Cyber Jar, basically. Or you have like Gen X Neutron to try and consistently turn on your Crush Card Virus power cards. Or Gravekeeper Spy to find your one Gravekeeper's card to turn on your Crush Card Virus. So this is the last week, Duelist Revolution. We had a few other ones. I believe this is week 3. Week 3 was insane. We had multiple card of safe return, like Zombie, with multiple Dark Arm Dragon, Painful Choice. The set was Light of Destruction that we built around. So we had just all these ridiculous cards because we had access to Retro Pack 1. We had one copy of every card from Retro Pack 1. So we had Monster Reborn, Graceful Charity, Painful Choice. And then we got to play it with like card of safe return zombies. It was such a fun week. And then the week before this, I believe, I'm giving spoilers to the previous weeks. If you guys want to check out the episodes, definitely watch them because the other people's decks are super sick. Week 2, I believe I had Dark World. Yeah, I had Dark World. Dark World with double card destruction. Double card destruction, double return. Pretty insane week. This week was pretty crazy. This was probably one of the more disgusting weeks. And then episode 1 was a week I didn't fully understand, so I just put some of every card I thought was good into it. And it ended up being okay. I had 2 Blackluster Soldiers, and they kind of carried me. So, if you guys... Yes, the Suck Vivo, I will be talking about the Pokemon stuff soon. But right now, we're talking about Edison format, basically. Or not Edison format, Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh! Which is a format that RJ invented, and that I've been playing. I'm getting excited, so I'm getting ahead of my words, which is something you can tell. You can tell I really like this. So this week, we have Ignition Assault. So the stuff around this set, the stuff that I'm looking at, that I have experience with, is I have experience with Mechanized Madness, because that is Machina cards. And I know Machina cards, because they're in Edison. And then the other thing I have experience with is I have experience with Rocket Revolt, which is Dragon Link. So I have experience with those 2 cards. Yes, I'm going to be playing at kind of a nerf. By not playing the Ignister stuff that's popular this week, I'm not going to get access to that many 3-ofs. I'm only going to get access to like 2-ofs and 1-ofs. But I think there's enough good 2-ofs and 1-ofs to build a deck around these 2 things. So I've started working on 2 different decks for this week, and I'm going to show you the 2 decks. I'm going to give a little bit of a sneak preview of the 2 decks that I've been working on, a little bit behind the scenes for this week's episode. This week's episode, I've got week 5, which is This is not it. This is not it. This is a deck I'm working on. So this is the Dragon Link Rocket deck that I'm working on. So in this week, we get access to Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is a very powerful card, and it's super insane, especially against the Ignister strategy. The Ignister strategy can't function unless it can search cards from the deck. So Thunder Dragon Colossus is a way we can shut that down, basically. On top of it, it looks kind of like a typical Dragon Link deck, but we get access to a few cards that I think are super busted. We get access to Union Carrier, which is now banned. This card can let you equip a monster from your deck to one of your other monsters as long as they share a type or attribute. So I can equip from my deck, I can equip this Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. This card is really unfun to play against. It says your opponent cannot, or while he's equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot summon monsters from the extra deck. So basically, you just try to link into Union Carrier, and then you get to equip Dragon Buster. This is my theory behind this deck. Either you do that, or you're using Nemesis Flag to search for Nemesis Corridor. Nemesis Corridor activates in hand, so it's the one card material for Colossus. So you have either Union Carrier, you link into Union Carrier to lock your opponent out of the extra deck that way, or you have the Nemesis Flag, Nemesis Corridor to go into Colossus to lock your opponent out of the deck that way. And in this week, we also have 2 copies of Imperial Order too. So this is going to be a very degenerate week. This is going to be probably the best deck. This is probably going to be the deck that I take to the actual thing. But there's another deck I want to show you guys that I've been working on that is even more sick than this. This is a degenerate like lockout deck where you're just trying to lock people out with Colossus or Union Carrier or Protoss, and then you have like Dragon Link backup plan where you just do a fair like access code OTK if you go second. And then the other deck that I'm thinking about playing is actually Machina. And this deck is so sick. This deck is so sick. I want to show you guys a combo with this deck. I want to show you guys a combo that we can do with this deck. So the way this deck works is if you have Scrap Recycler. Have I played with Scareclaw at all? No, I have not. I do not play a lot of modern Yu-Gi-Oh! I only play when I get the chance. Yeah, and I normally am playing Edison. If I'm being real, I'm normally playing Edison. Okay, this is... We're just going to stack our deck, basically. We're just going to stack our deck, or we're going to reset till we get Scrap Recycler. Because Scrap Recycler is an insane combo in this deck. We'll just keep doing that till we get it, more or less. I want to play this deck. Okay, so this hand is insane, right? This hand is insane. All right, we've got Scrap Recycler. So Scrap Recycler is a 1-card combo. The way this works... Dueling Network 100 asks, what was the deck I would have brought today if there was turn 1 draw? I would have brought Karakuri Machina Plants. I'll show that list after I'm done showing this combo. So this combo, the way this works, there's actually a couple ways to do this combo. The first way, in this hand specifically, is we can start with Machina Redeployment, or we can start with Scrap Recycler. I think it's fine to start with Scrap Recycler here and go through that first. So the first part of this combo, well... Yeah, I think the first part of this combo, we go for the scrap stuff. So just assume this is any spell card, or any card we can put into play. I am a musician, the Suck Vivo. I do work in music, currently for my day job. I would like to do YouTube stuff more in the future, but some stuff we need to change in order for me to do YouTube stuff more. A large part of that involves the second channel and just growth all around and whatever. Gores asked me, what do I play? What instrument do I play? I play 25 different instruments. I'm a producer. I'm a studio musician. I've been doing music stuff professionally since I was like 13 or 14. So that's just where I'm at in my life, more or less. Okay, so this combo works like this. You Scrap Recycler, you send Phantom Beast, right? You get... where do we get here? A token. I don't really want to merge my personal life with this channel quite yet, but I'll talk about it more in the future when I'm doing other stuff with music. But as of right now, I don't really want to link some of the stuff. If you know me on the Discord, then you've probably seen some of my stuff before. What is my main instrument? The first instrument I started playing the violin when I was 3 years old. So that was the first instrument I started playing. And then I started learning other instruments like pretty early on. So main instrument is subjective. Most of the stuff I do now is in synthetics. I rarely actually play physical instruments unless I'm getting like a sample library. Can I play Paganini? Yes. The first time I performed Paganini was at a competition when I was 9. Okay, what else is going on here? What else is going on here? We send the O-Lion. We get a token. Yeah, I wish music paid more. That's where I'm at. I wish it paid more, and I wish it wasn't gig work. It's funny because a lot of content creators will be like, man, content is so unreliable. Go work in music, man. It's even less reliable. Like it's even worse. It's even worse. Gores, I don't really want to share that stuff. It's kind of a different side of my life that I keep pretty separate from all this. But maybe in the future, if things get bigger, I'll do like a music stream or something. We'll do something fun. But back to the combo, because this combo is cool. It's just one card, Scrap Recycler plus any set card. So we'll Scrap Recycler, send O-Lion, and then you link into this new card called Scrap Wyvern. What a link is it's basically a synchro summon, but you just need to have the monsters. You don't need to have like a tuner, and you don't need to have like levels or anything. It's just a synchro summon, more or less. Bryce V says, I demand access to your life. I'll do a members only. How about that? I'll do a members only music stream. So if you want to become a member for $2.99, I'll do a members only music stream, because I don't want to like. Yeah, I'll do a members only thing for music. In the future. So you make Scrap Wyvern, and the way Scrap Wyvern works is you can target a scrap monster in your graveyard. Scrap Recycler, technically a scrap monster. So this is how it works. You special summon him out, and then you destroy him. Unfortunately, you don't get the send here, because Scrap Recycler misses timing due to the new rules. So you don't get the send here. But all that matters is you summon the Scrap Recycler, it gets destroyed, and then Scrap Wyvern's ability activates. For sure, the Suck Vivo. I understand, and it's not that you guys are being weird or anything. I actually appreciate that you guys care, but it's just something that like I have two different parts of my life right now, and I just want to keep them separate for personal reasons. It has nothing to do with you guys. Okay, so we get Scrap Golem, and then Scrap Golem gets to summon from the deck thanks to Scrap Wyvern, and then we get to destroy a card on the field. So if the opponent has a card, we can destroy one of their cards, right? But if they don't, then we have to destroy one of our cards. We'll destroy the Dark Ruler no more, basically, because that's what we have to do if we're going first. Then Scrap Golem can special summon Scrap Recycler, because again, it is technically a scrap card. So now we do get the send with Scrap Recycler, and this is where the combo gets crazy. Because we get to send World Wand. We need this card to be in the graveyard so that when we link here with these two monsters into Lib, we can activate the Lib effect. Yes, owning the Libs. We are owning the Libs in today's episode. So Lib activates. During your main phase, you can set one World Legacy spell or trap card directly from your deck, but cannot be activated this turn while you control you have no World Legacy monster in your graveyard. We have a World Legacy monster in our graveyard. We have the World Wand. We sent it off of Scrap Recycler. So we link those two off. We go get ourselves the World Legacy Succession. And this gets set into our spell and trap zone. This card is Monster Reborn. It's Monster Reborn, but it revives to a card that targets. So we've already had one pop with Scrap Wyvern, right? Keep in mind, we've gotten all of this off of just one Scrap Recycler normal summon. We've had one pop already. Then we link these two off into Appaloosa. So we get a 2-material Appaloosa. This will protect us from hand traps at this point. It also gives us 3 arrows so we can make more link plays. And then Lib gives us another pop. So when this link summon card is sent to the graveyard as a link material, as it is here, you can shuffle one card on the field into the deck. So we've popped one of the opponent's cards, and now we've shuffled another one of their cards into the deck. This is all off one Scrap Recycler, and we've set a Monster Reborn, and we have a 2-negate Appaloosa. So we have 2 negates, and we have 2 destructions off of normal summon Scrap Recycler. Then we can activate World Legacy Succession, special summon, back out that Scrap Golem. Keep in mind, Scrap Golem is not once per turn. So we can use it again. We can special summon out Scrap Recycler. And this is where the plays get fucking crazy. So Scrap Recycler is going to activate. This is going to send from our deck to the graveyard Jet Synchron. Now this is where things get really crazy. Joel says that's not a legal Apple summon. Why not? Why is that not a legal Apple summon? We have a 1 material and we have a link 3. Oh, this is a link 2. This is a link 2. You're right. That's not a legal apple summon. There's another way to do it. You just link away the scrap recycler. You just link away the scrap recycler too. Or whatever. Where was I going with this? There's 4 materials, right? There should be 4 materials. How did we get to the lid then? We had 4 materials in play. We had this. There's a way this combo works. I know there's a way this combo works. Yes, Abo is link 4. Okay, there's a way this combo works. Let's put the lid back to the extra deck. Let's put this back. There's a way this works. You just link these 2 monsters instead. This is how it works. You link these 2 monsters instead. My bad. My bad, guys. And then because you have, yes, now you have 4 materials. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but you just do this instead. Yeah, my bad. Sorry, I just missequenced it a little bit. But now you have 2 link 2s, which can go into Appaloosa. There we go. So we go these 2 into Appaloosa. Same thing. Gets you to the same spot. Okay, cool. You guys get the idea. Sorry, I knew I was messing something up. It's hard to talk and do this. This is for wave motion, by the way. Then you special summon Scrap Recycler. You send the Jet Synchron. Okay, cool. You pitch for Jet Synchron. Let's say you also have Machinery Deployment in your hand. This is where things get crazy. So you pitch for Jet Synchron. You bring it back. Now you have a couple of options here. We've had 2 pops already. Let's say we want another pop. We can either synchro into Trishula, or we can synchro into Ravenous Croco Dragon Archithus. Yeah, that's a mouthful, right? So we can synchro summon into one of these 2 off of this. So we'll go, we'll synchro. Let's say for fans, we'll just make Trishula. Because people like Trishula, right? This is a card that people like. There we go. So we make Trishula. We banish a card in their grave, card in their hand, card in field. So now we've got 2 pops, 2 negates, another banish, a banish from graveyard, and a banish from hand. So we've hit 4 cards, and we have 2 negates, and we have a level 9. But wait, it's even better. If you have Machinery Deployment in your hand, you activate this. You pitch Machina Gear Frame. You get to search for 2 Machina monsters. At this moment, we search for, I believe, Megaform and Irradiator. I'm not sure exactly. Hold on. How does this work? Yeah, this is what you search for. You search for Megaform, Irradiator. You pitch Megaform to summon Irradiator. And then Irradiator pops himself, special summons back the Megaform. Megaform, you tribute. And then you special summon from your deck Metal Cruncher. Metal Cruncher is basically Gear Frame. But it searches for a random card when it's normal or special summoned. So you get a random card search here. You basically just search for whatever. It doesn't really matter what you search for here. Because this combo is going to end on 4 pops, 1 hand banish, and then you overlay these 2 cards into a card that's banned now, which is the true king of all calamities. Which says your opponent can't even play the game. So you've popped 4 cards, banished a card from their hand, banished a card from their graveyard. You have 2 negates, and your opponent can't play the game next turn. And you're untapping with like 8 billion damage. And that's all off of 1 Scrap Recycler and 1 Machinery Deployment. If you're going second, you can do this with more cards in hand. There's better ways to set up this combo. Obviously, this is just like the basic way to set it up. But this is crazy, right? Like, I want to play this deck. Why am I even playing this? Great question. I'm playing it for Wave Motion YuGiOh. So this is Wave Motion YuGiOh, which is a limited fucking format, more or less. But limited is like in quotation marks because you get all these fucking banned cards. Like, I get to play with O-Lion. I get to play with True King of All Calamities. I get to play with, like multiple Foolish Burial, which is crazy. I get to play with, I think that's it, Protoss, which is another one-of card in this deck that you can maybe go into. I'm not sure if I'm going to include the Protoss Nemesis stuff, but as of right now, it's an option. We can also do that. Like, let's say we decided to go into Croco Dragon instead of Trishula. We would have gotten 2 extra draws. We would have gotten a free Pot of Greed. And let's say we drew into Nemesis guy. We can special summon Nemesis off of the Jet Synchron, which is banished, And then we contribute that into Thunder Dragon Colossus. So we could potentially even end this board with like Thunder Dragon Colossus, True King, Appaloosa, everything, all off of just one Scrap Recycler, one Machinery Deployment. That's assuming we went into the Croco Dragon instead of Trishula. You know, it just depends. It depends on what you want to do there. So yeah, this is probably the deck I'm going to play. It is worse than the Dragon Link deck somehow, just because it's like, if they stop this with a hand trap, we just fucking lose. But if they don't stop it with a hand trap, like, the deck's insane. Okay, that's it for Wave Motion Yu-Gi-Oh! This week. That is a combo I wanted to show off that I did lab. I like labbing the modern combos sometimes. Let's go ahead and talk about the new channel. Dragon Link ain't that good anymore. It's alright. It's good against Splight. And it's going to be good in the Wave Motion limited format because we have Union Carrier, which is basically just a more efficient way of doing what I was going to do in the other deck, except I can just do it with any 2 monsters instead of needing to draw specifically Scrap Recycler. Okay, back to what I was saying. New channel. We're on new channel stuff now. New channel. Let's update. So we did Wave Motion. Now we're doing new channel stuff. New channel talk. So, what I have planned for the new channel. I'm going to tell you guys right now. What I have planned for the new channel. I have one brand new series. As of right now, planned. I have multiple different games I want to play planned for the new channel. I have exclusive Edison content for the new channel. If you guys want to see the new channel, there's a link to it in the description. There's a link to the new channel in the description. There's already, like, I think a couple hundred people subscribed. I need to get it to 1,000 so I can monetize it. So if you want to subscribe to the new channel, this is what's going to be on it. There's one video up right now. There's a Pokemon video up right now. But as of right now, can I check the link to your new channel in the description? It's not working. Oh dear, it's not working. Okay, let me check that link then. Let me check that link. YouTube.com. So the link is broken. Let me update that then. We'll update that. Elephant in the room. The channel's called Elephant in the Room. I just like that phrase. I don't know why. Pokemon TCG. It should be the first thing that comes up. It is. Okay, cool. This is the new channel.
It should be.
Fuck. We're getting some feedback. This is the new channel. Let me go to the channel and link it in the description. I'm gonna link it in the chat. New broken link. I'll link it in the chat directly, and then we'll go. But this is the new channel. As of right now, 160 subscribers. I am on pace to hit 1,000 soon. I just need to hit 1,000 so I can monetize it, and I need to hit watch hours so I can monetize it. That's the big thing. Because this is how I'm going to start funneling people into Edison format, more or less. Like, my game plan is, like, do variety content on this channel so I'm not pissing off the Edison heads, and then do more content that's going to bring more people in. Let me update the description, too, of the thing. How do I do that? We go here. Stream settings. Is there a way I can edit the description? The link is broken. Crazy, okay. There it is. That should work. I wonder why it copy pasted the fucking, okay, that makes sense. It copy pasted the wrong thing. Okay, I'm seeing what I did wrong now. I copy and pasted the description, but it copy pasted the hyperlink shit. Which, yeah. Hold everyone. We're just updating one thing real quick. This shouldn't take too long. We're just gonna go to, yeah, it's whatever. That's fine. We'll update that later. We'll fix that later. This should be good to go right now. Okay, become a member. Okay, cool. There we go. Save. Nice. All right. We're back, everyone. We're back. The new link should be good to go. So new channel. First thing is just Pokemon TCG gameplay. So that's going to be like, oops, that's the wave motion stuff. Okay. Pokemon TCG gameplay. That's going to be the first thing. Pokemon TCG gameplay. That's going to be content A. I want to play a little bit of Pokemon. I think the game is fun. What does well mean in Zombie Dad? Telekinetic Power Well, iLegend. Thank you for subbing, Can of Eggs. I appreciate that. So this is well, let's go ahead and create a new text. We're gonna go new channel plans. New channel plans. This is the new channel plans. We've got Pokemon TCG gameplay. This is gonna be like your average video. I'll do maybe like one Pokemon deck a week or something like that. Then what else? I want to do Pokemon Showdown. I think Pokemon Showdown is fun. I think it's a cool content thing. I think it's cool to play Pokemon in general. I think the game is tight. Definitely want to do Showdown lives. Exactly, Kind of Eggs. Definitely going to be doing some of that. Okay, next. I'm going to be doing playthroughs of games. So I'm going to be doing playthroughs of games, like Let's Plays. A breakdown of how to play Pokemon would be cool. Yeah, I might end up doing that. That sounds like a great idea. We're going to be doing Showdown lives. We're going to be doing playthroughs. I plan on doing playthroughs of these games in the near future. I want to play Inscription. I've heard Inscription is one of the coolest card game themed video games. And I'm a card game player. At heart, I am a card game player. So I'm going to be playing through Inscription. I think it's cool to check out different card games. You can apply what you learn back to Yu-Gi-Oh, back to Pokemon, back to whatever. All of it is the same thing. It's all turn-based strategy games, right? We're all taking information from different sources, approaching things, learning more things. So I want to play Inscription. I've heard really cool things about this game. Another game I want to play is a game this guy covered. It's like Dust something. Fuck, what is it called? Hold up. Let me look this up real quick, guys. I'm sorry, I need to look it up. Dust. Fuck, what is it called? What is it called? It's called Phantom Dust. Phantom Dust is a playthrough I want to do. Phantom Dust. So Phantom Dust is another game like Inscription. It's a free-to-play game on Steam, but it's a card game. But it's a card game plus like fighting game at the same time, which is crazy. What's the game from the creators of Photopea? Oh, the ad. You're memeing me, Bryce. You're memeing me. Keck. That's hilarious. That's super funny. No, I have not considered trying it. One Step from Eden. Real-time card game. One Step from Eden. I'm going to make a note of that right now. One Step from Eden. I'll have to check it out. So I love all these different card game contents. I think this is something I want to explore more of. I think having this is going to tie more into what I want to do next, which is my brand new series, which I have yet to make anything for or figure out how I'm going to do. But okay, so this is the first general idea, playthroughs. And then of course I'll be doing playthroughs of like, you know, Pokemon and stuff. Like I'll be doing playthroughs of like big titles as well. Slay the Spire, another one I want to check out. Another one I've been meaning to check out, but have not had the chance to. So yes, we're going to be doing, fuck, I did not want to create a new text layer. Hold up. Playthroughs. Yes. I want to do Slay the Spire. We're going to check that one out as well. Thoughts on chess? I love chess. I'm a big fan of chess. I'm really out of practice, but I really like chess. So I might be doing some chess content. I have yet to figure out how to make chess interesting. So we're going to put make chess interesting. Lol. I don't know how to do it, but if I'm going to do a content piece on chess, I got to make it interesting. Because I think chess, if you don't play chess, competitive chess is fucking boring. If you don't play chess, or at least understand it to some degree. I want to make chess content that's interesting for anyone, more or less. If I was gonna make chess content, I want it to be interesting for anyone. That's kind of the goal with the new channel. The new channel is to be like anyone can watch it. Anyone. You don't have to know how to play Pokemon. You don't know you don't have to know how to play Pokemon TCG. You don't have to know how to play Inscription or whatever. I just want it to be like a game, a channel anyone can watch. Basically, that's the goal, and like have a good time watching, and they can take away stuff from the strategy. Like they can get involved in the strategy of it. That's what I want. I want to do strategy game stuff that isn't to a niche audience. And then from there, I can build up on the Edison stuff. Paganini playthroughs. Yeah, I couldn't think of a less interesting thing to stream. Yeah, myself playing Paganini after 20 years of not playing the piece, or however long it's been. I'll definitely have to do it. I'll definitely have to do some Paganini stuff. That sounds fun. It sounds fun. I'll do some music stuff. But should I do music stuff? I don't know. Music stuff? Question mark. How do I do music stuff? So before I started making YouTube videos for Edison, for YuGiOh, I actually did make some like music tutorial videos. They're like lost. They're hidden on YouTube. You'll never find them. You'll never find them. They're impossible to find. You want to know why? Because nobody fucking watched them. Nobody fucking cares. Everybody already knows how to play the instrument, or there's a million videos out there for that, or everybody already knows how to do stuff. But if I was going to do music stuff, it would have to be like something really like that. Exactly. Classic Yu-Gi-Oh collector. It'd have to be like lo-fi beats, but not like lo-fi beats. More like there's a creator I really like. There's a creator I really like called Andrew Huang. Do you guys know him? Do you guys know Andrew Huang? He's a very popular music creator. He has like 2.3 million subscribers, and his videos are fucking cool. They're fucking cool because it's just like, oh, I got this new instrument and I'm trying it out. And it's like something that a lot of people would like to watch, basically. And he also has this series. He has this series, which I'm going to get into in a second. The 4 producers flip the same sample series. You see it right here. 4 producers flip the same sample. I want to do that. I want to do stuff like that. Sample flipping. Sample flip challenge. Stuff like that. That sounds fun to me. Taking a recording of something ridiculous and then turning it into a piece of music, that sounds like it's up my alley. Because like I said, right now, I work mostly in synthetics, and that's something I think I could turn into an interesting video. So maybe we'll do music stuff on there. Maybe we'll do music stuff. Maybe we'll do a sample flip challenge. And then, again, back to this 4 producers flip the same sample thing. Back to that. I have ideas with that sort of like structure, but we'll get to that later. In terms of series, I have one series I want to do that involves Edison format on the new channel, and I'm gonna leak this right now. This is something that I've had in my head for a really long time, and I think would be the coolest thing on YouTube. Like, this is something that I want to watch that doesn't exist, and it'd be like a King of Games challenge. So the way this would work is we have 2 players, similar to, I don't know if you guys watch Ludwig. But he has a series on YouTube called, where is it? Bro versus Bro. He has a series called Bro versus Bro, where they play best of 5 or best of 3 or whatever in different games. So I'm basically just stealing that series. And we're going to do it with card games. So it'd be like me versus another pro player in another card game playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic, and then maybe 2 wildcard card games. And we'd have stakes on it, basically. We'd be like, whoever wins has to do something ridiculous, or whoever loses has to do something ridiculous, or whatever. You get the idea. So the King of Games challenge is worth subscribing for. If you only like Edison format, it's gonna be worth subscribing for this series alone, because this series is gonna be really cool. And I'm gonna try to get like a bunch of like cool card games people in on it, like potentially like good players from other games, like maybe good Magic players or good Pokemon players or good Flesh and Blood players or whatever the week tends to be. And then we're gonna have like, we're gonna have to play all 5 games, and whoever wins, is the King of Games. That's pretty much it. So I want to do that for sure. Ramon wants to see local tournament content. I'm not going to be the channel for your local tournament content. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't facilitate local tournaments. I don't stream local tournaments. However, that being said, we're going to add a bit of extra length to this, because there's some stuff that I want to cover. Okay. However, I am going to be doing over the table Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, whatever, over the table TCG. I'm going to be doing over the table videos on the new channel. This is another big part of it. I didn't want to do over the table videos on the E3 channel because it's very difficult to get a guest and then have them be there daily for the videos, basically. And I want to upload daily videos to E3. Occasionally, maybe I will do an over-the-table video on E3. Maybe. Occasionally. But for the most part, yes, vlogs. Another thing I will do. I will do vlogs. All of my vlogging of tournament stuff will be done on the new channel. So tournament vlogs or any other type of vlog that I do will be done on the new channel. I want to keep E3 Edison as much as possible. Edison community, Edison whatever. But most of my tournament vlogs, my locals vlogs and everything, that sort of stuff from Mom, I will be doing on the new channel. And I will definitely be doing vlogs. I won't be doing like covering a locals, you know, top 4 or something like gameplay or whatever with commentary. I don't really like doing, I know this is kind of like counterintuitive to everything that I've been talking about recently, but like I don't really like doing tournament coverage. Contrary to popular belief. I don't really like doing tournament coverage contrary to popular belief, but I do like the vlogging side of it. I do like the real like human aspect about it, because that to me is what's special about a tournament. I could care less about the matches. I've watched a million matches of YuGiOh. You know what I mean? I've watched a million matches of Pokemon. I'm not going to see something that I haven't seen before that's going to really blow my mind at this point. But what I am more interested in is like doing storylines. Oh, okay. If that's what you meant, then that's definitely what I'm going to be doing a lot of on the new channel. Definitely going to be doing a lot more. Like I went to a Magic tournament or I went to a Pokemon tournament. I am potentially thinking about going to Magic 30 and vlogging that. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that yet. It comes down to scheduling. October is a very busy month for me. I am working a lot of the different stuff. And then I will definitely be covering more Edison events and stuff like that too. Like I'll be going to, you know, regionals and whatnot and getting like side events and doing like little vlogs and talking to the people there who are playing Edison, who are playing, you know, cool like limited formats. I'll be doing vlogs with like other creators maybe. Like just fun stuff like that. Just fun stuff like that. That's definitely something I'm going to be doing more of, because that's something I do enjoy doing. Over the table trading card game, I'm going to be doing that occasionally. I'll be doing Edison format. I'll be doing old format Pokemon, which is something you can't really cover very effectively with online stuff. So old format Pokemon I'll be doing over the table with. And then yeah, I mean this is going to be the beginning of it. I have other plans. I don't want to say too much because it's a lot of planning and I need to actually execute it now. I'm in the point where it's like I need to start executing things for the new channel. So you can expect to see at least, I'm thinking 1 video a week, at least. If not 3 to 4 videos a week on that channel, in addition to like near daily episodes on E3. So if you want to subscribe to both, you're going to get a lot of fun stuff, a lot of cool stuff. And I'm going to do exclusive Edison stuff on the other channel too. So if you guys are just Edheads and you just want to see some cool videos, I'm definitely going to be doing stuff there. So if you guys want to sub, help me get to 1,000, help me get to that monetization threshold, that'd be really sick. That'd be really helpful. Okay, so we've covered what I want to do on the new channel. We've covered a tier list, Edison format tier list. And then we've covered, what else? Bryce says, I hope to see your face in front of the camera more often. I will be doing a lot more in front of the camera on the new channel because I think I have to. I'm going to get a look that I like for myself, and I'm going to like maybe build a little bit of a set in my office and have something that looks kind of intriguing at the very least. So it's not just an empty room, but I'm definitely going to be doing more stuff in front of the camera, especially on the vlogs, especially on the over the table TCG stuff, and potentially even on the King of Games challenge. Long hair equals instant YouTube success? Maybe. I've seen a lot of long hair YouTubers. This is possible. It's possible this is true. So yeah, we've covered the new channel. We've covered the tier list. We've covered, what else have we covered? Wave motion YuGiOh. We talked wave motion YuGiOh. The last thing we need to cover is RBET. We need to talk RBET. So let's go RBET predictions. Let's go do this now. This is what we've got. We've got RBET predictions. What have we got for RBET predictions, everyone? What have we got? Here we go. This is a previous predictions thing. We're going to clear all of this, or most all of this. Let's go ahead and clear most all of this. X Sabers. Yeah, let's clear all this shit. No, I don't want to add anything to my favorite card. God damn it. Okay, cool. Let's start with this stuff. Okay, we've got Telekinetic deck. We've got Fairies and Blackwings. I've said these are the 3 best decks. I think these are the 3 best decks. V says, wish I had long hair to rock. Not gonna lie. You can grow it out. No reason not to. Unless your work requires you to have short hair or whatever. I think these are the 3 best decks. The Well Dad, the Fairy Dad, or not Fairy Dad, Fairy deck, and the Blackwing decks, Blackwing X. So these are the decks I expect to perform well. Always. I'm always going to say that I expect these decks to perform well because I think they're the best decks. Pretty straightforward. I think Zombies is probably going to be seen in some capacity. For some reason, people love Zombies. Why do people love Zombies? Do you guys in the chat love Zombies? This is something that I'm curious about. Do you guys in the chat love Zombies? And why? Why do people like this deck so much? Is it cool to special summon stuff from the graveyard? Do they have cool art direction? Why is it people like this deck more than they like other decks? I don't understand. It looks pretty. Okay. I mean, you've got Zombie Master as an ultimate. That card does look really good. That card looks really good. And then you've got Goblin Zombie as a secret rare. That card does look really good. And then you've got Ultimate Rare Plague Spreader. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. The deck does look pretty. And then you get Secret Rare Mizuki on top of that. That's a pretty looking deck. Pretty looking core at the very least. Yeah, and you get to play, like, you know, lots of high rarity limited staples. Okay. You get a Synchro. That's true. Bryce V makes a good point. Kick-ass Synchro. Gore says, I like them more in the current format. Punk Zombie is a dope deck. Yeah, it is. Punk Zombie is fucking tight. As a base deck, Gores, you're right. I do like Zombies a little bit more in the current format than I do in Edison, but they are a cool deck in Edison. I just feel like I don't understand why people like it. I guess it makes sense. It's like one of the most popular, like... Yeah, it is a good deck. It is a good deck. Somewhat honest, I disagree. I think any deck that's playing Return is not an honest deck. I think any deck that's playing Return is not an honest deck. At all. And you can play Return in any of the top 3 decks, effectively. I think. I think you could even play Return in Blackwings, and it would be okay. Dishonest, Kappa. That's funny. I do like Zombies. I mean, the cool thing about Zombies is you're never really, like, out of the game. I feel like it has game against everything. You're never really, like, getting shut out by anything, which is cool. Bryonic is the best card in the format. So, that's tight. And it's the best Bryonic deck, so... Yeah. I mean, I can see why people like it. I don't know. It's just, I don't understand why it's, like, such a fan favorite. I don't understand also why people hate Blackwings. I guess it's because it's an archetype, and it's easier for people to hate an archetype because there isn't that, like, creative spark. There isn't that, like... I put together this deck of, like, 16 different random cards, and they work together. It doesn't have that, like, homebrew feeling that, like, Quick Draw or Zombies has. Blackwings is, like, these are the best Blackwing cards that they printed, and I put them all in a deck. It's less creative. So I can see why it gets a little bit of hate, just because it is less creative of a deck to build, in general. You're just making less decisions on the deck building because you're just playing the maximum number of the best Blackwings. Also, yes, Oppression, Icarus, and to a degree, I think Deck Devastation Virus are not fun cards to play against. Icarus Attack I don't mind as much because I think there's counterplay to Icarus Attack. I think Icarus creates a cool mind game where it's like, do I have Icarus or do I have a spot removal? Are you going to summon one card into the spot removal, or are you going to play around Icarus? You know, that's kind of fun to me. That's fun to me. I actually like Icarus a lot. Do I like Royal Oppression? I'm indifferent personally, but I can see why some people would not like it. I can see why some people would not like this card. And then Deck Devastation Virus, I think, is uninteractive. I think it's like a gamble card. I think it's a cheese card. I dislike cards like this. In general, I've always disliked cards that hit the hand. I've always thought cards that hit the hand in these earlier formats are cringe. They're not fun to play against. Like, I'm fine if it's something like Thestalos, where you have to put in a little bit of work up front to get one card out of your opponent's hand. But am I just going to, like, high roll a deck dev against my opponent and hope it hits their, like, whole hand and just cheeses them? I don't like that. I also don't like Trap Dust Shoot. I think these cards are, like, they're really unfun, uninteractive to play against. So, in terms of predictions, I expect a lot of people to be on Zombies, Blackwings, Fairy, and the Teledad, Welladad decks. Welladad can kind of be grouped in Zombies, but I feel like some people are going to bring their Diva Zombie deck because they're not sold on the Welly Dad deck quite yet, or I don't know, they don't feel like updating it or whatever. That's what I think is going to happen, more or less. I think these are going to be the big 4 decks. Maybe Fairies isn't as represented because not a lot of people play them. And then Lightsworn. I think there's always going to be some number of people on Lightsworn. This is one of those decks that never really goes away. It never really goes away. Gladiator Beasts, I expect Gladiator Beasts. These 2 decks, they never really go away. Are they going to win? Are they going to spike the event? Or are they going to fall off? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, Fairies are the truth, Bryce. I honestly don't know. A lot of people, like... It's interesting because people will look back on these formats, right? And they'll be like, you know, like so stuck in 2010. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see more Quick Draw. I actually think Quick Draw into this meta is bad. I think the only thing Quick Draw is good against is Fairy, and that's probably going to be the least played out of these 5 that I've listed so far. Or 5 or 6 that I've listed so far. I think Quick Draw actually does not the best against Glads. I think it does not the best against Lightsworn. I think it does pretty poorly against Blackwings. Against Zombies, it's more of a 50-50. Because I think Drill Dandy is really good against Zombies. But I think those 3, the Lightsworn, the Glads, and the Blackwings, really beat up on Quick Draw. So if you're bringing Quick Draw, you gotta be tight with your play. You gotta be tight with your play. Why is there a Fall Troll and not any hero? We'll get to that. And I will add a hero. So let's get this Deep Fissure on the side. Let's remove all this shit from the side too. X-Sabers. X-Sabers is a deck that I think could do really well in this event. Why? Why is X-Sabers going to do really well in this event? Because X-Sabers is a busted synchro combo deck, right? It's like Zombies, but a little bit more unfair than Zombies. I think it's like Glads in that you get to play Rescue Cat, but a little bit more unfair because you get Fall Troll. You know what I mean? I think the deck is good. And then I think you can build the deck. I think you can build it in a way that it fucks Blackwings. So the only thing you're really going to need to worry about is like Lightsworn, some really stun-heavy versions of Glads, and then maybe the Teledad decks. But I think you're at least like, you know, you're in the race. Like you're at least like 40-60 against the Teledad decks. And then against Blackwings, you can build to beat Blackwings, more or less. So I think X-Sabers could be built to do well in this format. I think they could do well. As it stands right now, not a lot of good players play X-Sabers too. Like when it comes tournament time, everyone just sleeves up the same decks. I don't get it. They're just too pussy, man. They're just too pussy to spike the event with a X-Saber deck. That's how I feel. Okay, heroes. So let's talk Gemini heroes. What's the Gemini hero? Alias. And then let's also talk evil heroes. Let's get Malicious Edge. Malicious Edge, I think, is going to struggle a little bit. Like the evil hero builds, I think are going to struggle a little bit with the top decks. I don't think the evil hero deck does super well against Blackwings or against Fairies or against Teledad. I think the Teledad deck is just a little bit too fast. It's just a little bit too fast. And you can leverage your back row against their fusion guy, and you can leverage your DD Crows a little bit more. So I don't know if it's going to be good. However, I do think the build that we talked about earlier, the Alias Diva build, is very good into this metagame. I think it does very well against Blackwings. I think it does actually pretty well against Fairies. I think it actually does pretty well against the Teledad and the Quick Draw decks as well. And it crushes Glads. So I think the Diva Alias hero deck is in a good spot. It's in a good spot. Because people are like, they're kind of skimping on back row removal. If you look at the Blackwing decks that are popular right now, like the J4 Blackwing deck, for example, it's like 30 monsters. It's like 26 monsters. It's like 26 monsters with 2 Whirlwind, which is like 30 monsters, more or less. And decks that are like a lot of monsters, where they get kind of stunted on the normal summon and kind of stumble against Absolute Zero, they're going to struggle with that Alias deck. The issue with the Alias deck is when people start playing more back row, I think. And people start playing more like, you know, I don't know, just more back row, more banishing stuff, more DD Crow, more Kaiku, that kind of thing. That's when this deck's going to struggle. But if people start skipping out on that kind of stuff, then I think the Alias deck's actually pretty good. I think it's actually pretty good. So I'm thinking that could spike this event. The Alias Diva deck. I think the Fultral deck could spike this event. I think the Carpath deck, which is Gear Town, I think this always has a chance because this deck is very good. I think it always has a chance. It's very good. I think it's weak against fairies. But again, fairies is not that represented. If people don't bring fairies, then you can just bring a deck that loses to fairies and be fine. So I think the Card Path deck is actually very good into this meta as well. There's a lot of stuff that is good. It's weird because like we get this like push and pull, right? We get Blackwings. When Blackwings are popular, people start cutting Royal Oppression. And then when people start cutting Royal Oppression, Blackwing becomes less popular. So it's like a push and pull kind of thing. Do you want to be in the camp that says, fuck it, you don't have Royal Oppression? Or do you want to be in the camp that says, fuck it, I won't face Blackwings? That's kind of where you want to be with the Royal Oppression discussion, more or less. A card that I think is going to see a lot of play this weekend is Compulsory Evacuation Device. This card is constantly impresses me. Constantly impresses me. Especially if your deck is fast. If your deck is slow, this card kind of sucks. This card kind of sucks. But if your deck is fast, this card is very good. So the decks I like to see this in, I like to see this deck, or this card in YuGiOh. I think it's good in YuGiOh. Like YuGiOh-centered Blackwing decks. And then I think it's good in the Welidad decks to some capacity. I think it's also very good in the Gear Town decks. I think it's actually at its best in the Gear Town decks because those decks, like look, I've got a Gadget Dragon, right? I got a Gadget Dragon. I've got a Limiter Removal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care. I don't care that I'm going -1 if I'm dealing 6,000. You get what I'm saying? I don't care about the -1. The -1 is only bad when you're playing a slower, grindy deck. I think Compulsory is pretty bad in fairies because while fairies do have fast draws with like Soul of Purity and Light and stuff, it's more of a grindy deck. It's more of a grindy deck. And I also think Compulsed is not the best in quick draw because it's more of a grindy deck. And you can't really afford those kinds of -1s when you're already going -1 into Drill Warrior. You get what I'm saying? So I think Compulsory is very good in the faster, aggressive decks. Mostly in the Machina decks. I'll say it. Machina, X, Machina, Gear Frame, these. Compulsory goes fucking stupid in those decks. Because you're like, okay, 5,500 damage on board. Attack for 55. Pass the turn. Your opponent goes set Raikou, hope to stabilize. You just bounce their Raikou, kill them. Like, it's insane. And then let's say your opponent has like, you know, let's say they have Trag, right? Let's say they have Trag. You hit with your monsters. They drop Trag. You bounce their Trag. You hit with your last monster. You game them. Or you just go for damage kills. And Compulsory is also incredibly good in Burn. So I think we're going to see a little bit more Burn. I don't know if I showed Burn already yet on stream, but I did a video with it recently. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my list from Deck Devastators that I played. And then I'll talk about like what I would change. So this is the list I played at Deck Devastators. What I would change is I would actually put in more Compulsory. Straight up. I would put in more Compulsory. Not only does it combo well with Desk Koala and Morphing Jar, but it also opens up lanes for you to get free damage in with stuff like Injection Fairy Lily or your bigger monsters. And then on top of that, it gives you extra uses of Super Nimble Mega Hamster. Like let's say I flip Nimble Mega Hamster and then my opponent attacks into it. I can bounce my hamster and then set it again on the next turn, get another +1. So it gives you like reuse value out of some of your cards. Reuse out of your Marshmallow, reuse out of your Morphing Jar. There's a lot of application for Compulsory in this deck. Additionally, if you're going even further down the burn route, you can build your own Icarus attack using Lava Golem. So you can use Lava Golem with Compulsory Evacuation Device. Tribute your opponent's 2 monsters, have them take 1,000. When they attack, compulse back your Lava Golem, and then threaten to tribute another 2 of their monsters. Bryce V asks why my fairy deck doesn't play Marshmallow. Let's go ahead and look at my fairy deck. Let's look at my fairy deck. When am I ever gonna set Marshmallow and not prefer having another monster? All of my other cards in this deck are higher activity. Marshmallow doesn't amount to anything. It's a -1. It's a hard -1 in this deck. Marshmallow's never giving me a +1. I'm never tributing it for anything. I'm never attacking with it. I'm never doing anything. When would I ever want to set a Marshmallow when I could just set another Nova Summoner? I would rather just add a second Nova Summoner into this deck than a Marshmallow. The corner case scenarios where you'd rather have Marshmallow are so few and far between. And then on top of that, you'd have to draw another card to convert off that Marshmallow. I'd have to want to set that Marshmallow and then stall into something else. What am I stalling into, right? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work with the strategy of the deck. In burn, it makes a little bit of sense because at least it's dealing burn damage, and then I can like sack it for Caius. Like, it makes a little bit of sense here to play it. Plus, it's a light for Chaos Sorcerer, so it makes a little bit of sense to play it here. Like, it has applications. In general, I don't think Marshmallow is the best card. I think it's kind of a low impact card. Like, 1,000 damage is not that much. Being destroyed by battle is kind of irrelevant when every deck can pop things with Raikou Caius or Dark Armed or whatever, Phoenix Wing or Bionic. And then on top of that being a light, it doesn't really amount to much. I think the card really shines when it's like a debris target or it's something that helps you set up for something else, like a Caius play or a Chaos Sorcerer play. It needs to have hidden value. It needs to have value in that like you can do something with that time that you bought, or you can do something with the extra body in play, or you can do something with that extra 1,000 points of damage. So I think it makes sense here in the burn deck, basically. Back to the predictions. Where were we? Ladies and gentlemen, where were we? Someone remind me. Compulsory. Yes, compulsory in the hyper-aggressive decks. I think compulsory does really well in the hyper-aggressive decks. So you've got these ancient gear strategies, these machina strategies, these even like these solidarity strategies. There are some decks that I've seen playing solidarity that are low-key kind of slept on, like Frog Wetland Solidarity or like Dragon Solidarity. You know what's a fucking terrifying combination of cards to look at? Prime Material Dragon with a Solidarity. This is scary as fuck. This is terrifying. Or like White Knight Dragon with a Solidarity. I mean, this card's terrifying in its own right, but backed up by a Solidarity, it's even more scary. But Prime Material Dragon with Solidarity, it's fucking scary. It's fucking scary. It's one of those like hidden combinations of cards. I think compulsory really shines in those types of decks where you're able to attack for 3,000 or more with each one of your monsters. And then you can find game shots pretty easily. Okay, so Evil Hero, I expect to see more Compulse. I expect to see Ancient Gear. I expect to see Machina. Definitely come prepared for these decks. People will be playing them because they are good. Limiter Removal is a stupid card. Should be banned. Should not be legal in any format. I don't think Limiter Removal should be legal in Current. Like, it's a good card in Current. That's how crazy this card is. Okay, where were we? What else? What are your guys' predictions? There's 40 of you in the chat right now. I've managed to hold some sort of an audience with this stream. What do you guys think? What are you predicting? What do you guys think is going to win? I guess that's the easiest prediction to ask for. What do you think is going to win? Classic Yu-Gi-Oh! Collector says Blackwing won't get first. Interesting. I wonder why you think that. Erebus says I want dragons to be really good. I'll show you guys my dragons list after this. V says I think Blackwing and Bayou Turbo will do well. Drunk I'm Not That says Frog Slicer is going to win. I don't believe that. I think if he was going to win or do well, he would have won or done well in any of the previous events. Blackwing variants populate the top 16 again. I could see that. Sandstand says one day Machina Town stuff will top. I think it will top. I think it will top this event. Fairy first, Blackwing second. I'd be impressed. I'd be impressed if a Fairy player could win this event. I'd be very impressed. I would be very happy. And I'd also be very impressed. Welly Dad in the top 8 would be cool. That would be cool. Frog might do well. Frog always has a chance, right? Frog always has a chance. I don't think it's that bad of a deck. I just think it's a bit slow of a deck. It's a bit slow. Welly Dad sweep. That would be game changing, I think. That would change the way, like, let's say Telekinetic Powerwell comes in and it wins the whole thing. I think that would change the way we look at Edison format. I think it would change the way we think about this entire format. It would shift everything. Basic list for ancient gears. Let me pull that up for you. Shattered Lights. I don't know if I've seen your name here before, but welcome in. Ancient gear. Okay, let's look at ancient gear real quick. This is a basic list. What I want to try is I actually want to try moving these two compulsory to the main. Maybe keeping the Megamorph in. I'm not sure. But I want to try moving these two compulsory to the main. This is my ancient gear list right now. Also, get this magic cylinder the fuck out of here. You should be the one attacking. Yeah, if Power Wheel wins, I mean, it changes everything. This is the ancient gear list that I'm thinking looks heat. Maybe you can cut Morphing Jar too. I don't know. For the Megamorph. It just depends. I think Morphing Jar is insane, but this deck is good. This ancient gear deck is good. The only issue is like the sideboarding. You fucking get fucked by Cyber Dragon. I think that's the issue. What was the other list I wanted to pull up? There was another list I wanted to pull up. Nagakiba says thoughts on Diva Heroes. So we've talked about this a little bit. There was a list that topped Deck Devastators. I'm going to pull that list back up again so I can refer to this when people mention. Yeah, I get you, Shattered Lights. In any case, welcome in. Welcome back. I hope this helps. I hope this is what you're looking for. Okay, back to the Deck Devastators thing. Back to Deck Devastators. Where is that shit? Where is that shit? Here it is. Okay. There was a Diva Hero list that topped this that I think is very good. It is this list right here. I think this list, but you add a Future Fusion and you get it down to 40 cards. Then this deck is insane. Dragons. Dragons winning the whole event. Oh, Dragons list. That's what it was. You're right, Erebus. I was going to show my new Dragons list. Where is it? Is this it? Is this my new Dragons list? This is my new Dragons list. Take a peek. Hello, Batman Aranda. How's it going? Okay, cool. So this is my new Dragons list. Let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about it. We've got 3 Upstart, card that I am normally pretty avid not enjoyer of, but I think you just need to open Future Fusion. We've got 0 Gold Sark. I'm excited for this weekend too. This weekend's gonna be fucking crazy, dude. It's gonna be so much fun. Thoughts on Genesis Dragon and Vandalgian? They are both suboptimal. If you're gonna play a list, I think this is the list. Take a look. Take a look. Let's talk about some of the newer choices here. Yes, no illegal Flamvel in this list. Nice reference from Mom, yes. You're giving me PTSD from the comment section on that video. I'm just kidding. Okay, so we've got DD Warrior Lady. You're probably thinking, Keegan, doesn't DD Warrior Lady conflict with Totem Dragon? Yes. If DD Warrior Lady goes to the graveyard. So DD Warrior Lady is just like a nice catch-all, banish anything, that I think this deck really missed. I think it's very good for this deck. I think right now, it needs more stuff like DD Warrior Lady to deal with Blackwings. Blackwings is public enemy number 1 right now. Blackwings is the issue. That's why we're now up to 2 Starlight Roads in the main deck to deal with Icarus Attack. We're up to 0 copies, down to 0 copies of Royal Oppression in the main deck. No longer playing Royal Oppression. We're saying, fuck it. If we play against Quick Draw, we'll have to cheese them with Rivalry. But at the very least, you know, we don't have these dead oppressions against Blackwings. We don't have these dead oppressions against Vayu. What's up, John Race? You have a tournament weekend. Do you have a tournament this weekend? Any updates for the deck? No. The last list I posted, the DDV list that I tested, is still my current list. Double Starlight in the main deck of Dragons, absolutely based. Okay, our current Tribute Monster suite, we've got White Knight Dragon, Prime Material, and Yamada Dragon in the main. I think Yamada Dragon is an I win button that you need to have in the main now. I think it's just an I win button. You got to have it. If it resolves, you win. That's it. I think you just need the extra I win button. That's how I feel about it. I think Gold Sark. This is another huge cut. Gold Sarcophagus. This is a card normally seen in decks like this. But I think it is too slow. I think it's too slow right now. You can't survive those turns anymore. If your opponent's playing like the J4 Blackwing list, let's go ahead and take a look at the J4 Blackwing list. This is the Diva Hero list that I like. I think I mentioned that. We're going to go ahead and look at the J4 style Blackwing lists. They look kind of like this. Or like this. Where it's like, it's mostly monsters. And they're just fast as shit. They're like so fast. Like if you look at this deck, you have Greffer, which is insane speed, right? You have Greffer, Pitch, Sirocco, Pitch, Value. You can special the Greffer out. And then on top of that, you have the Boras and the Kalutes for additional speed. I don't think you can survive. I don't think you can survive if you're playing a Gold Sark on the first turn of the game even. And that's when Gold Sark's at its best. Now, take into account, you aren't guaranteed to draw Gold Sark on the first turn of the game. You could very easily top deck it in the middle to late game. And this deck is very grindy. It gets to top deck situations very often. I don't think you can afford to play Gold Sark. I don't think Future Fusion is good enough anymore. That's a crazy thing to say. But I don't think a turn 1 Future Fusion or a turn 3 Future Fusion is good enough. I do think the upstart is needed. I think you need the extra percentage to start Future Fusion. I think the extra percentage. I don't like that it gives the opponent life points, but I think the extra percentage is needed. Also, Upstart Goblin, you don't have 3 cards you'd rather add to this deck. Like, I'm not sure what you'd rather add. Like, what are we adding in the place of these 3 upstarts? Another Totem Dragon? Do I really want a 3rd Totem? What am I adding here? That's the real question. I've already added every good card in the format in this deck. The only thing left to add is like a tuner, if I wanted that. Exactly, Bryce V. Debris. Exactly. Solidarity is an interesting inclusion. Solidarity is an interesting inclusion. That could be a tech here in place of the upstarts. But like, do you ever want Solidarity over an upstart? Like, do you ever want Solidarity over that extra percentage to open Future Fusion? Competitively speaking, no. Competitively speaking, no. I don't think so. I think that's pretty much... I think this is like the 40 cards you want, more or less. Would I use Dragon Mirror? No. I would not use Dragon Mirror. I think getting 5 dragons into your graveyard is too difficult. And I would not want to banish them, even if I did, because I want them there for Red Eyes and for Call of the Haunted. And I want them there for their effects, like Wyvern and Totem Dragon. So, no, I would not use Dragon's Mirror. I think it is too inconsistent. Yeah. So what's the recent revelations with the Well-Dad Zombie deck? And why is it equipped to do so well for the recent format changes? Shattered Lights explains. So I've mentioned this a couple times on the stream already, but I will answer the question again. You've never seen it. Okay, here it is. This is the Well-Dad Zombie deck. I've played it a couple times on the channel. One of the most popular videos on the channel is me playing this video as of right now, which is super exciting. Is basically the Diva Zombie deck that has been doing well. But instead of Divas, instead of excess Pyramid Turtles, excess Book of Lives, which can brick in multiples and be slow, we've increased Armageddon and Greffer, and then we've moved more towards Krebins and Powerwall. Krebins is a good defensive threat. It's also great at like poking into Rykos, because if it dies, you're happy. It sets up for your Powerwall later. Then in the late game, when you go for your play, you can go for it all in the same turn because Telekinetic Powerwall doesn't take your normal. It's basically like a Deep Sea Diva that doesn't take your normal summon. And it also gives you additional synergy with like Armageddon Knights, Dark Greffers, and just being able to play a better tuner in general. So that's the theory behind this. That's the theory behind this list. And in practice, this deck is fucked up. It's fucking good. Like, I mean, like, obviously, you know, you're playing a lot of limited power cards, right? You're playing a lot of limited power cards. You only get one chance at making a lot of plays. So if you fuck up, you're gonna regret it. You know what I mean? With decks like this, like you only have one Bryonic, so you can really only go for that once. You only have one, you know, E-Telly. You can really only go for your Malicious play once. You can really only go for your Dark Arm once. But if you play smart with a deck like this, you should have really good chances. And look at the card quality. Let's take a look at the card quality here. Mind Control, Brain Control, Return, Solemn, Dust Shoot, Torrential, Mirror Force, Stratos, Dark Armed, Rhoda, Allure, Foolish, Heavy Storm, Call of the Haunted. These are all cards, I would say, 14 insane power cards. Insane power cards. And then on top of that, you get to play the best engines in the format, which is like the Zombie Synchro engine is the best Synchro engine for 6-star in the format. Mizuki's really good. You have the best way to support Wind Blast, which is the best trap card in the format. You have Caius, which is the best Monarch in the format. You have Etilly, another limited power card. I should include that in the top 15, actually. Yeah, Bryce says, wish it could fit Prodigy and another Caius. I don't even think that that's necessary. I think if you can set up for the Prodigy Colossal OTK, then you can OTK your opponent in other ways. Yeah, Greffer is also crazy. Yeah, like, this whole deck is just crazy cards. Like, there's very few bad cards in this deck. Sangin's a great card. You know, like, Mystic Tomato's a decent card. The fact that the worst card in this deck is probably Telekinetic Powerwell is crazy. Because Telekinetic Powerwell is like Soul Charge in the late game. So, yeah, this deck is good. And the fact of the matter is, like, Krebons is good too. Like, against Oppression, you can just summon a Krebons. Your opponent attacks, you negate it. Next turn, you can sack for Caius, banish their shit. Against Oppression, okay, let me reorganize this deck. Let me reorganize this deck real quick. All right, fuck, I just fucked it all up, but you get the idea. Against Oppression, how do you play? You have Heavy Storm, you have Typhoon. These are your main outs to Oppression, right? Then you've got double Wind Blast, so that's 4 outs. And then you've actually got pretty good monsters. Like Statlines, Stratos, Zombie Master. They're pretty strong. Greffer's pretty strong. Krebons, it's not the strongest, but it at least buys you an extra turn, so you could summon Caius. Tomato buys you an extra turn, so you could summon your Caius. You have a lot of ways to play around Oppression. You could put a Twister inside, if you wanted to, over a Dust Tornado. I could see it. Alternatively, you could just summon a Synchro Monster fast, and then your opponent, like, can't beat you, more or less, but yeah. Again, I think the deck's just good. Is this the deck I'm bringing? Daniel Stein asks. I'm not playing in the tournament. I'm casting the tournament. I'm casting the event. The RBET events are the events that I host here on the channel. I do commentary. I, stream them, so can't really play in it. It's also kind of weird, like, if I'm the one contributing to the prize pool, if I'm the one throwing the event, if I do well in the event, how does that look on me? You know what I mean? It looks rigged. It looks like I rigged the bracket. It looks bad. So it's like, even if that's not the case, my win doesn't have as much value, if that makes sense. So, yeah, that's kind of where I am with it all. I like playing in the deck devastation tournaments. I'm going to play in more of those. I'm going to play in more of those for sure. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay, back to predictions. I think this just about sums it up, really. I think you have a shot at X-Saber spiking. You have a shot at Burn spiking. I think the Gear Town decks will be good. I think the Hero Diva, the Alias Diva deck will be good. I think you can pretty much guarantee if someone is playing well with these top 3 decks that they will top. I think if someone is lucky enough, they will top with Lightsworn, of course. I think Gladiator Beasts, they always have a chance at spiking. They have some pretty absurd draws that I have witnessed. And then I think Quick Draw is always a solid deck. It doesn't have too many terrible matchups. It has a lot of, like, bad matchups, but the margin in which they're bad is very small. It's like 55-45 in favor of Blackwings. If you're going to outplay every Blackwing player, which you very well might do, all right, you take those odds, Or like against, Frogs, you're a little bit favored. Oh yeah, Frogs. I should mention Frogs. I don't know if Frogs is going to do well. I think as the format gets faster, I think Frogs gets worse. What do you think about Vortex and Dragons or Wind Blast? I've tried Wind Blast, and I was not the biggest fan. Vortex, I think, is interesting. Again, not the biggest fan. So here's my thing with Dragons, right? Here's my thing. Let's go back to the Dragons list. Let's talk Dragons. Because that's something I should put on here. Dragons. Prime Material Dragon. Do I think Dragons is going to do well? No. I don't think it's going to do well. I think the way the format has shaped up, it's a little hostile to the deck. I would love to see it top. I would love to see this list top. But I think the format has gotten a little too hostile towards dragons. The large count of D prison is why I say that. Yeah. I don't know about Vortex. So here's my thing with dragons, right? Here's my thing with dragons. What do we lose to with this deck? What beats this deck? Spirit Reaper. Okay. Colossal Fighter. Okay. Okay. What else? What else is beating this deck that we need to clear with Vortex? What do we need to clear with Vortex that's beating this deck? Duplock? Okay. Okay, Dupe Frogs. Okay. Buster Blader Lameo? Okay, Buster Blader. Anything else? Victoria? People keep mentioning Victoria in the chat. This card sucks. This card sucks fucking balls. They just summon Wyvern and crash with it. Or they just summon Drago, run it over, and you just cry. Because now you're locked under Drago. Okay, where was I going with all this? All of these are the cards that you would want to clear with Vortex, right? All these are the cards you'd want to clear with Lightning Vortex. Let's talk about the ones that see the most play, which is Colossal Fighter and Spirit Reaper. These are the ones that see the most play. In the slot that I have Vortex right now, I have DD Warrior Lady. DD Warrior Lady handles both of those cards. But there's an upside. DD Warrior Lady banishes those cards. It banishes Spirit Reaper. So that means your opponent cannot Book of Life it back. Your opponent cannot Zombie Master it back. They can't, get it back with Mizuki. So that's what I have in the slot right now. Do I think Vortex is bad? No. But am I ever happy going -1 Vortex into 2 Dupe Frogs and then letting them get 2 ads? That's a -4 play. Or -2, I guess. But it's just... why would I want to make that play? Like, I'm never happy I'm making that play unless I'm winning the game. You know what I mean? That turn. And if I'm winning the game that turn, then sure, okay. You know what I mean? But, like, what would you need to win the game that turn? You would need to have Lightning Vortex, plus a discard, plus a monster to summon, plus a red med, plus a card to special summon back. It's just... I'd rather just have a Book of Moon. It's a little bit more versatile. Yeah, if anything, just play Smashing Ground, or play Brain Control, or play Mind Control, or something like that. Like just something to that degree. As it is right now, if your opponent goes Dupe Lock, you can just flip Rivalry and deck them out. Which is funny. Yeah, as long as you can protect the Rivalry, then you win the game. So, that's kind of the game plan against Dupe Lock, is just win by deck out. Or just find Book, DD Warrior Lady, or Book, or Brain, or Torrential, or whatever, etc., etc. There's a lot of stuff you can do in those circumstances. Against Spirit Reaper, against Colossal Fighter, I'd kind of rather have them banished. Obviously, it's nice to have an out to Colossal Fighter, but in Lightning Vortex, like a sorcery speed, but you have to spend a card to get rid of it, which is ugly. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think this deck is going to struggle right now. I think it's going to struggle. I think this deck does better when Lad is better. I think when Lad is good, this deck is good. Because you can just play more Lad. And it's such an absolute bomb. It's like such an insane card when it's good. What is Lad good against? Lad is good against X-Sabers. I think Lad is good against zombies. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not good against frogs. It's not good against... It's okay against the machine decks. It's okay against the machine decks. I'll say that much. It's okay against the machine decks. It's, like, not great against machine decks. This deck in general is not great when machines are popular. It's not great when machines are popular. You could play Compulse. Erebus, that's a good idea. You could play Compulse in this deck. You could play Compulsory here. It wouldn't be the worst. I actually think Compulsory is not the worst here. It's not the worst because the Ancient Gear decks, which you struggle with, it gives you a clean out to Ancient Gear Dragon. That card gives you a fucking headache. Ancient Gear Dragon is a nightmare for this deck. It's really hard to deal with. That's why we have the Cyber Dragons in the sideboard. We accept that we're going to be shutting off our Totem Dragons because we just need to have outs to it. Yeah. So I don't know. That's that. Okay, predictions. Let's go back to the predictions. I'm going to make a crazy prediction right now. I'm going to make a crazy prediction. I think a machine deck is going to win the tournament. I think a deck with either Gear Town, Machina Fortress, or Gear some combination of these cards is going to win the tournament. That's what I think is going to happen. I think people are getting better with those decks. I think people are not playing System Down. I think people are ignoring, or they're not ignoring, they're doing the opposite of ignoring. They're labbing these types of decks. System Down is at 3, but again, are you really going to dedicate 3 slots in your sideboard to System Down? Are you really going to do that? And then let's say your opponent just goes Summon Gear Frame. What do you do? Yeah, exactly. I think there's going to be a Gear Town or a Machina deck in the top 8 for sure. And then I'm going to make a crazy prediction and say that it wins the whole event. I'm going to make a not so crazy prediction and say that nobody is going to play fairies. Despite it being the best choice, in my opinion, nobody is going to play it. I am going to make another prediction. I don't think people are going to play the Well Dead deck. I think people are going to play the Diva Zombie deck like they always have in the past. Because people don't change. That's another like very normal prediction. Everyone still has 2 Sidra in their side, but people are now learning how to deal with that, right? Like if you looked at the Ancient Gear deck that I flashed on camera earlier, I had 3 Thunder Kings in the side. So let's say I go Gear Town, boom, boom, Ancient Gear Dragon, attack, main phase 2, summon Thunder King. Good luck summoning that Cyber Dragon. Good luck Chimera attacking me. I will negate your Cyber Dragon and I'll still have my Gear Dragon. You know what I mean? People are getting better at playing against it. Or what they'll do is they'll go Gear Town, Terraforming, search Zombie World, set Zombie World over Gear Town, special my Gear Dragon, flip the Zombie World. Oh no, you can't contact into Chimera Tech. You can't get over my Gear Dragon. Your Cyber Dragon's a dead card. You can't even sack that Cyber Dragon for Caius because I have Zombie World in play. So you get the idea. I don't know what the KFC stands for. I just know that that's what he calls the deck. That's what Carpath calls the deck. It's just a funny name, I think. That deck is very good. So I think we're going to see a Machina deck win the tournament. And that's the thing, is like, I think as the format develops, like, these busted cards are going to get more eyes on them. They're going to get more people trying stuff out with them, more people labbing. I think that Blackwings will still be the most played deck. That's going to be something that I predict. It's done well in the past few tournaments. The people who play the deck never change. So, and for good reason. The deck's good. The deck's a good deck, so can't really argue that the Blackwing decks are bad, because that'd be cap. So I think Blackwings will be the most played deck. I think Machina will win. I think Fairies will not see any play. I think people will still err on the side of Diva Zombies over Telekinetic Zombies, even though they probably shouldn't. I think Lightsworn will maybe sack its way into a top. I think Gladiator Beast will no longer ever top a tournament ever again. I think DDV was a total fluke. I think it was a total fluke. I think Gladiator Beast is still a very bad deck. It's one of the worst C-tier decks. And then I think, the rest of it is speculation, really. But I think the big prediction for me is that Machina will win. Or not Machina, but Machine X will win. All right. Let's wrap this stream up. What do you guys think is going to win? I want to see what everyone thinks is going to win. And then we'll call it a stream. It was a good stream. We covered a lot of stuff. We covered the new channel. If you guys haven't already checked out the new channel, make sure and go subscribe. I'm trying to get it to 1,000. I have a lot of stuff upcoming on that I'm working on. Once we get to 1,000 on that channel, I can monetize it so I can start doing crazier stuff. And then I'll be, of course, advertising the E3 and the RBET stuff on the new channel, trying to grow Edison that way as well. So, nice blizzy emote biz. We covered the tier list. We covered Wave Motion YuGiOh. I showed you guys my Wave Motion YuGiOh deck with the combos. And then, of course, last but definitely not least, we covered the RBET5 predictions for this weekend. I think that pretty much sums up everything. Is there anything else I said I wanted to cover? Is there anything else? Someone remind me. Someone remind me. Is there anything else I'm leaving out here? Or is that a good stream? Thumbs up. Can I drop the link for the channel or the name? Because the link in the description, does the link in the description still not work? You might need to refresh the stream because I have updated the description, but I will drop the link to the channel again. Is it too late to sign up? Absolutely not, Daniel. You can sign up in the Format Library Discord right now. Let me go ahead and pull up the channel again. This is the channel. Flip. This here, I'll drop the link to it in the chat. Perfect. Yeah, and if you refresh the stream, the link should be working now in the description, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so that's that. Signups are now open in Format Library Discord. If you guys want to know how to sign up, actually, I'll cover that real quick. If you guys want to know how to sign up. So we go to Discord, right? We go into Discord. Ooh, Discord, exciting. Really exciting, Discord. Crashing my computer, Discord. You go into the Edison chat, or whatever. It's not loading, obviously, because... There we go. Okay, we're in the Edison chat. You type !join, and then you hit send. Then you're going to need a dueling book link to your deck. So you're going to need a dueling book link to your deck. You will get a DM from Retrobot. Retrobot will be like, how do I join the tournament? Or submit your deck or whatever. And you'll be like, okay. And then you send them the deck link, basically. So you added the link to your deck, but then nothing happens. That's interesting. That's interesting. It should work. If you DM the link to your deck back to Retrobot, it should work. So... try it again. That's all I can say. Is just try it again. Yeah. You got to DM the link to the Retrobot when they DM you. That should work. It should work. The way you get a deck link is you go to Dueling Book and you see this button here that says export deck. You click that. So like let's say I wanted to enter with Dragon or whatever. I would open my Dragon deck on here. I would hit export deck, create a download link like this. Boom. Then when you click join, this is the link you copy and paste up here and send to Retrobot. And that's how you sign up for the tournament. I think that just about covers everything. I'm going to hop off, go get some dinner, chill out. Thank you guys for joining me today. This was a fun stream. I want to do more of these where I'm like hanging out with you guys and talking. Batman Aranda, if it's not working, I'll DM me on Discord and we'll get it sorted. If things aren't working, DM me on Discord and I'll see what I can do to get it sorted. I'll see you guys in the near future. Have a good evening. Peace out, guys.